becoming a viral moment where we had a laptop 10 minutes into the thing go melting. As y'all can see, we have the nice laptop, which we will be hanging on the wall to make fun of ourselves, because that's kind of what we do.
I thought when you told me about that, I thought that was a figure of speech. Like when you said it burn up.
Yeah, no, we literally had
Burn
it.
up.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So, but here we are. We've got LJ back, which LJ's working on some new things. We'll let him explain that in a second. We've got Tom. Tom, I'm gonna butcher your last name all day. So
Hey, welcome to the party. Derzapolsky.
Sapolsky.
Yeah, Derzapolsky. You got it.
Okay. Who is running for city commissioner, seat 3, right?
That's right, Tallahassee, Florida.
So we are excited to have him on. Welcome to the dirt. Before we get to you, LJ, actually, let's slide. I actually brought something really special today because I know they like a little bit smoother. So we're smoking a Monte Cristo number 2. We won't say where they're from. So we won't, they're definitely.
I had cut it. I had a little pocket knife, so I got to chop it.
I'll let you cut that one for me.
You want a V cut on it?
Yeah, V cut's fine. We're gonna do the full Cuban on it.
Oh yeah.
But LJ, tell us a little bit about your new thing you got going on now.
I was recently appointed the director of development for Capstan Media, and they've been in business, I think, for 40 years. They're part of the Alcom Corporation.
Wow.
Really excited. It was brought to me, though. When I wrote the article about the chamber, late March, early April, I got to meet Brian Cerny, and he was like, "Come on down and do my show," and I was like, "Well, I don't know you. I don't know you. Let me figure you out first." And I started doing research. I was like, okay. I went on down and met with Brian and this team down there, and it felt like we knew each other for a long time. We just hadn't seen each other, so it was an instant connection. Did the interview, that went well, and we just stayed in contact over the next few weeks. And he called me one day. He's like, "Hey, do you mind coming back into the office to talk about something?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." He didn't really mention what it was. He said, "We're really looking for a director of development or a person to really leverage the connections in Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. And man, I follow you on social media. I see you everywhere and doing this and networking, and we would love to bring you in possibly for this position." And I told him, I said, "That sounds like an awesome gig, but what's the real catch?" I said, "I do things a little bit different. I like to build long-term relationships with people. I don't like to be transactional in any regard. I like to build and qualify and see what people really need." And that's what they told me, and that's what I could see from the company, is that they build long-term relationships. And we negotiate a little bit, and I accepted. So I'm really happy to be there and happy to help them, but really happy to help local businesses in the area, not just Tallahassee, but the surrounding area.
Awesome.
Well, I am excited for you, but I tell you what, I'm more excited for them because I know what you bring to the table. So that's awesome, man. Congrats.
I appreciate you, man. I'm really excited. Yeah.
Cool.
Now,
I'm
Tom,
excited to sit here with good old Tom right here.
Well, I tell you what, I'm excited when we give Tom. Go ahead and tell the people who you are.
Yeah, Tom Derzapolsky, born in Tallahassee. After high school, joined the Navy, went and saw the world, came back, went to Tallahassee State College. Loved that experience. And then through Florida State, got a job at a local marketing firm.
Nice.
Worked there for a few years, but then, like you were saying, I want to do things differently. The way we treat, not that where I was at was bad. It's just the way we treat clients, the way we treat one another, and just see if I could run a shop a little bit differently. And here we are 16 years later, rocking along really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's real good. But ever since I returned from the Navy, I've served the community on various boards to try and meet community needs. And I was just brought up, we were told when we were growing up, we got two hands. One should be sufficient to serve yourself. The other's there to serve others. And so it was a culture in my home. I didn't know we were doing anything different. until like my friends, they make you feel bad because I'll call them up and say, hey, we're raising money for this. He goes, man, you're always doing something good. Every time I see you up to something, I realize how much I'm not doing.
Yeah.
And I joked around with him. I said, you know what? Some people do what I do, and some people write the check when I call. And
Yeah,
I said, you're the check writer. You don't have to get out here and get dirty.
You got to meet Sam Carter, the dude that we had on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because when he left us on this show, he had us like, me, Greg, and Scott were just like, we're the laziest pieces of crap we've ever met.
Yeah, Dr. Carter does a lot, man.
Well, you answer the call where you can. You know what I mean? But so, kind of went through the holidays this past year and was looking at life and the community and trying to contemplate where I was being called to serve. And with my wife Stephanie and I, we said, there's an opportunity to serve in an elected capacity. We might be able to affect change on the city commission. And I had seen for far too long through my nonprofit work that when the city is dysfunctional, you can't look at our city commission right now and say, well, this is humming along like an orchestra.
This is working.
This is working. There's nobody that looks at that and says, that's great. People look at it and say, this is broken. Mm-hmm. And we have some incredible city employees. The folks that work for the city of Tallahassee love the city and they love their jobs. I met a guy yesterday morning in my front yard. He was out there working on the fire hydrant. I asked him how long he'd been there. He'd been there like 20 years. He loves his job. He's a good man. But we do have some cultural things at the top that need to be squared away so that we operate without fear and with vision, and we get to pulling in the same direction together. My whole life, I've told folks, I'm not going to write you the most detailed policy, but what my gift is meeting incredibly bright folks, meeting others in the community who I can bring around the table to move a body of people forward together. So I'm a consensus builder, a team builder, and I know how to do that really, really well. So that's what I'm hoping to do up on the commission. Bring some civility, some peace, and get things done for folks.
Well, we wish you the best of luck on that one. I will say, as a media, I'm glad to have you here. If anybody in your race wants to come on, I think I'm supposed to give them equal space. I'm not sure how that works. So it might be interesting. We might end up with the first woman we've ever had and probably the only woman we'll ever have on Dirt Floor Talk.
That'd be great.
But when you hit me up for a vote, and I guess we're Facebook friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got like 5,800 Facebook friends on there.
Right.
And as I'm sure all of us do.
Yeah.
And I told you, I was like, well, I can't vote for you because I don't vote in Leon County.
Right.
But you can come on my show. And I was really surprised when you said yes.
Yeah.
Because we're not a big fancy show. We're unscripted, and that scares a lot of people, especially running for office, to go to an unscripted. Because a lot of people don't know this, but most of the time they send the questions
right
to the people running for office before they show up.
Sure.
So they sound better. And I don't know, maybe we're not smart enough for questions ahead of time.
No.
But I invited LJ here again, which, LJ is welcome on the show anytime. He's been a friend of mine for many years. We have smoked at at least 4 different cigar lounges together.
Yeah.
And so LJ's got his hand in everything there is to know about Tallahassee. So I invited LJ because I figured it would be a better conversation.
Absolutely.
But before we get to you, the politician, let's talk about you, the man, and you, the father.
Sure.
And the husband, because I don't know, I'm kind of tired of I gotta vote for he might not be a good man, but at least he's on our side.
Yeah.
I mean, am I right? I think people are kind of tired of that now.
Yeah. Character counts, actually.
It does. And I ask around a lot about you. Most of the people I talked to really, really liked you.
Good.
I will tell you the only negative feedback I had was sometimes you have trouble making a decision.
Interesting.
Was the only negative feedback I got from one person.
That must have been an employee. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
But most of them were, he's a good guy, he's a good father, he's good in the community. You do have one blemish, you worked for the Red Cross, and you know how I feel about the Red Cross.
We had that talk.
But, no, so I want to know more about the man.
Sure.
Before we get into policies and how you want to change the city of Tallahassee,
Right.
I want to know first of all, what makes Tom tick? You say you're a Christian.
Sure.
I have no reason to doubt that. Over lunch, you definitely portrayed that, which is great. So let's talk about salvation for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then let's move into, your wife, being a husband, being a father.
Love it.
And we're a 3-hour show, so we got plenty of time. And then we'll move into what's going to make the difference in Tallahassee. But
yeah.
I think people need to know who you are.
Sure. I'm grateful for that opportunity. And that's the easiest thing in the world to talk about is I tell folks, if you can ask any of my employees, or friends actually as well, that if you have your priorities aligned in life, you wake up and you know, I've got a ranking of importance of things that I care about, then it helps guide you throughout the day. It also helps frame things, the importance of them, or is it really a crisis? So for me, it's faith, family, work, and everything else. And work would also include, serving this community. And so I understand that I was purposefully created by a God who loves me, and that I am here to do good things for people, that I should be serving my family, I should be serving my community. I should strive constantly to be a better man. When you stumble and fall, get up, recognize it, repent, move on. That it's not a complete journey. That means you got there, right? It's literally a journey. And so I say that just to say that perspective and having priorities squared away helps guide you throughout the day. So it ends up infiltrating how you do business, how you treat people fairly, how you operate honestly, how you try to make the right decisions, along the way. My favorite thing in the world to be is the husband of Stephanie. She's an incredible woman, and I'm very grateful to have her in my life. She's strong, she's compassionate, she got a huge heart, she's so smart. And I outpunted my coverage like by 1,000 yards. This is our 20th year together, and we got 3 kids. My oldest daughter, Madison, turned 30 yesterday.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And
is she the one married to the guy?
Yeah, Ryder
Cairo?
Millsaps. Yeah, Millsaps family up in Cairo. Really great family up there. I'm lucky to have them as part of our bigger tribe, And then through that, I should tell you, I have 2 grandkids. I have a granddaughter named Georgia and a little grandson named Rip. He's got that motocross name, when you marry the Millsaps, you're going to know him. My son-in-law's name is Ryder, and of course his son is named Rip.
Nice.
But I'm blessed. I've got a wife that I'm grateful for. I've got good kids. I have a company I love that I've grown. I live in a house that I never lived in any kind of house like that growing up. It's not fancy, but it's in Benton Hills. We're proud of it, right there in Midtown. And I sometimes wake up and pinch myself. I'm like, I'm literally living my dream. Like, the woman I love, the kids I love, and the house I love, and a community that I absolutely adore and want to see prosper. And so I'm very grateful. I'm not a candidate who's rolling into things with a chip on my shoulder. I think there's work to be done. I can be an honest critic of performance and of culture, because I think you need to recognize those things so you can change them. But I've told folks on the campaign trail that I intend on winning this race because I'm going to work so hard, and that I think that goes a long ways, and I hope I can earn the trust and respect of voters. But in the other races, whoever's sitting up there leading with me, I know I can lead with. I have no doubt that we can get things done. And it comes down, it's because of the way you treat people and sharing your vision, sharing your heart, letting people know that you don't have an agenda, you're not a villain, you're not there to stop or, do those type of things. So, I could roll on about that all day, but,
So tell me, how'd you like that lunch today?
I told you, when you sent me the invite and said, hey, we're going to lunch here first, I said, I love that place. But that's that good Southern cooking. I had fried catfish, fried chicken, collard greens, mustard greens, black-eyed peas with rice and gravy. And the sweetest tea, you could have poured this tea on your pancakes. If you didn't have syrup, you could have
Don't
just
forget
doubled
the
down.
fried shrimp,
Fried shrimp.
fried
yeah.
chicken, barbecue pork.
I did. That's right.
Yeah. We're talking about the farmers market in Thomasville on Smith Street. Most of y'all know that's where we go before the show.
Yeah, it was awesome. You're like a celebrity in that place.
What
I was
can
like, man, look at this.
what can I say? I
Walk
eat
in with
there-
royalty.
I eat there too much. It's probably why I weigh what I weigh.
Yeah, that ain't. Yeah, that's not necessarily healthy. It's good for your heart.
It is a great
soul,
food, though. It's a great food for a great price, only $15.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, no, it's hard to beat. LJ was supposed to be with us, and next
Missed
time
out,
he
man.
comes, he's gonna have to make sure that he makes it because the food is phenomenal.
Get cold, man. Call for them late meetings, and you got to go perform.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
No, I get it. I'm
Yeah.
always glad that you take time out to be with us.
Man, blessed. It's just a blessing overall to be with men to talk about issues, not 100% specifically involving men, but you talk about this epidemic of male loneliness and everything else,
yeah.
and men killing themselves and this, that, and the other. And I always talk about like Fuma and cigar places where it's primarily men there. And I was talking with what's our guy, the pastor, Jeff.
Oh, Pastor Jeff, yeah.
Yeah, I saw him last night, and I was saying how places like that really helped me as a man grow and develop. You know, just to sit back and listen to older men,
Yeah.
and to take pieces from them and try it out in life and go back and tell them, and they're telling me they're like older brothers and father figures.
Yeah.
And I think the same about this podcast. It's nice to just sit back and listen and gain that knowledge and insight from so many great men.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a title to be a great man. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And I'm really excited. Next week we have Greg back.
Yeah.
We have Rudy
Yeah.
coming. I'm
Okay.
really excited about Rudy. John Mader is going to try to come back, and myself, and we're actually going to do a Father's Day kind of
Okay.
an episode.
That's cool.
Yeah. And
Next week is Father's Day?
Yeah.
Man, next week is a crazy
Yeah.
week.
Don't forget
Well,
that.
it is for us. Now,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
those that don't know, and
Yeah.
this would not be a bad event for you to show up for running for
Random
office.
pop up, yeah.
Is we've got we are members of GTG.
Okay.
Good
which
Time
is-
Gang. So,
Yeah. Cigar.
international cigar group.
Okay.
Yep.
But we have a Tallahassee chapter, so we're having our anniversary, first anniversary next week. But all the different chapters from across the country, I won't say all of them will be there, but a great number of them will come down to Tallahassee.
Really?
So hundreds and hundreds of cigar smokers. So with us, it's a huge week that we've been working on this event for, I don't even know how long, maybe 5-6
right.
months.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, so all that pulls together for next week. It's
Yeah.
going to be a crazy week.
No, it is, and we're gonna have a couple of cigar vendors. I'll be one
Yeah.
of them out there. Of course, I've been talking to Q
Yeah.
about setting up the podcast out there.
Oh, man.
And
Live?
just go
Yeah, yeah.
live and just let the
Yeah.
different people come spend 10 minutes
Yeah.
talking about cigars.
Why not?
Because I'll have Ronnie and Malik out there to help me with the cigars. So,
Yeah.
and Malik knows the business just as well as I
Right,
do, if not better sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about something you said about like male loneliness and being in those environments.
Yeah.
You know who does a great job of building one another up and coming together and encouraging is women. Like you see
course.
the women's forum and you
Oh,
see
yeah.
like well organized bodies of people.
Women Wednesdays and
Yeah.
everything else. Yeah.
And I think that's great. I mean, I'm married to a executive MBA alpha female. Like she's awesome and she's strong, but men just don't get together and mentoring and encourage.
Well, they actually do.
and help
and
as,
I'm
as
gonna-
much as they should. Like
Right,
we need
right.
to gather
No,
more.
I
men.
agree. I agree. Not as much as they should. But I'm gonna challenge you on something, and I want you to seriously
Yeah.
come to it.
Okay.
Come to Jerry's Cigar Lounge,
Okay.
northeast side of town. I would say go to the other, but me and them have our issue at the moment.
For which one?
You know, I'm like banned from the one you mentioned earlier. Yeah, over the
About
Christina
Lucky
thing.
Goat.
Oh, I thought you meant you were banned from the other Jerry's.
No.
I was like, what happened there? Well, anyway.
He would never ban me.
Yeah, I was like,
He
what?
loves me. The woman manager and me off an old colored joke that she laughed at. Anyway, it's a long story. I still love the boys regardless of whether I go there or not. But you should come to Jerry's on a Tuesday or a Friday.
Oh, yeah, so good vibe.
And meet the guys. And I got to tell you, a good church and a good cigar lounge is the most uplifting places you will ever be at.
Nice.
And a lot of guys don't understand that, but
Yeah.
like, I smoke with guys on a regular basis. In fact, I'll tell you a story. There's a brand of cigars called Fat Bastards.
Okay.
And guy was a CEO and was losing like everything. And thought about killing himself.
Jeez.
And a friend of his like, hey man, I'm going to my cigar lounge. I'm gonna go smoke. Why don't you just come with me and, you know, I'll buy you a cigar
Yeah.
and something to drink. And so he came there. Over the course of 6-7 months, talking to grown men, his mental state got better,
Of course, yeah.
and
You're not alone.
Yeah.
not alone.
Yeah.
And so he finally got back on his feet. You know, found himself. And when he started making money, he opened up a line called Fat Bastards, which 50% of everything they make
Yeah.
goes to men's mental health.
That's awesome.
But I smoke cigars every day with people that say if it wasn't for the cigar lounge, they would have killed themselves.
You know, y'all probably saw that trend on TikTok, and it was this guy's cool voice, and it's basically saying how a guy will say, "How you doing?" And so I'm good, I'm fine. But then it goes into this brief dialogue. I'll send it to you after the show if I can track it down. About how no, you're not. No, you're not. You need to be like in relationships with other men. You need to be. We should all be mentored constantly.
Right.
Surround yourself with people who, that you could lead and pull up and guide, but also are guiding you. Like,
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
100%.
you're not done growing.
Be put under pressure, man. You think about a diamond or something like that. Being put under pressure. I think about my father, Vietnam vet, Air Force, but I thought he was crazy growing up. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, and not that I was expected to go do crazy stuff, but for him, I don't know, man. Take anything. I had to know about every single thing. If I wanted to go down the street to play with friends, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? And then I had to come up with a plan for it. My father, a small business owner, owned a gas station, garage, all that good stuff.
Awesome.
I couldn't just ask him for money. I couldn't just say, I need $10. Okay, what do you need it for? How you gonna pay me back?
Right.
I had to come up with a business plan for everything. And I never had to pay it back, but that's the type of thinking.
Yeah.
You know, he's molded me to be a pragmatist. I don't care what your political beliefs are or whatever that is, but I'm always thinking about solutions, you know? And I'm thankful to have a father in my life like that, and I talk to him every single day. And
That's awesome.
he's guiding me every single day. But we can do that for every man or every person we see daily. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, as we should. And that's why, you know, I'm thankful to be in the church that I'm in with man-led, you know, you got this big thing about the SBC and the women pastors and stuff. And somebody asked my opinion about it, and I laughed at him. I said, I'm a Reformed Baptist. Like, what does that mean? I said, we've never had a woman serve in any position, nor will we. So, you know, I know it's probably going to take a few feminists off, but what do I always say? Keep watching, it'll get worse.
Keep watching, it'll get worse.
But,
well, you know, it's funny. Along those lines, you know, when I look at Jesus' life on earth, right, and what we see heavily documented in the New Testament, you can't help but notice in that show, what's that awesome Promise? It's been out for a few years. It's a series about Jesus' life. But It is amazing. I can't believe we can't think of it right
It's
now.
on Amazon.
Yeah,
Chosen or something.
Chosen.
Chosen. Okay.
But I saw this in the scriptures, but when you see the characters in The Chosen, one of the things I realized was that the relationship with Christ was foundationally built on a rock, on a core principle.
Yeah.
But the human relationship, how you interacted with your Savior, was very different by each of their personalities.
Right.
He knew who he could send in that was hot-headed. He knew who he could use to do this or that. So if the church is promoting the gospel and salvation through Jesus, but has a different way of worshiping. Some have very charismatic music. Some are more traditional. Some got an organ.
Yeah.
Some preachers wear the collar. Some don't. I tend to look at that as how we can celebrate the relationship that all the disciples had, right?
Yeah.
Your church says we won't have female leaders in it. There are other churches that do. But when we look and see,
but
can
when
we find...
you have the female leaders, and I'll challenge you on this and be very respectful with it. I think the Bible's clear. And I think regardless on whether you want more music, less music, whether you want 1,000 elders or you want one elder, whether you want the youth group to be within the service or the youth group doing their own thing, we can argue over schematics.
Right.
But I think the scripture is very clear on that to be a pastor, you have to be the husband of one wife. To be the head leader of the church, you must be a man. And I know I'll get a lot of pushback from that one, but I think I'm going to stand on the scripture on that one.
Right.
And if somebody doesn't like it, that's fine. They can take it up with God's word. But I think the scripture is pretty clear on that one. So, I mean, I get it. And for you, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's your thing. But personally, I'm going to draw that line. I'm going to draw that line for two reasons.
Okay.
One, the Bible says it. And therefore, I believe the Bible says it, follow it, It is what it is.
Sure.
But also at the same time, you, I'm sure, will agree with this 100%. You are called to be not only the head of your household, but the spiritual head of your household, right?
Yes.
Now, if a woman is out there preaching and being a pastor of a church, then she has now become the spiritual leader of everybody in that church. So, if she's married, she's now the spiritual leader of her husband, which goes completely against Scripture entirely.
I'm probably not versed enough in being able to quote Scripture, but I think what the Lord gave me in my relationship is an expectation to lead, a wife who has that expectation. And then we also are there for one another. So when I'm, the year or two ago, I wanted to put together a Bible study for our house, right? But Stephanie's gift is organization and execution in that way.
Yeah, and she's your partner, and using her gifts. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Yeah.
not arguing.
Oh, no. Yeah, but I was like, man, I really appreciate you leading here and helping us get this done as a family. Or there are times I'm like, hey, everybody up. We got church. 30 minutes, we're leaving. Let's go. And there's other Sundays where I'm like, oh, man, I'm so tired.
Gotta get up.
And she's like, honey, get up. We got to go.
Yeah.
And I know we're not talking past each other. It's similar. But, yeah, I could see how people look to Scripture for that kind of guidance. And but I'm very grateful to have a strong woman of the Lord in my life that will nudge me or smack me in my head when I do something knuckleheaded.
Yeah.
And then also has that expectation, like, hey, we have 2 sons. My daughter's grown, she's living with her husband, and her husband took on that responsibility, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But for these 2 young men that are 16 and 13 in my household, I have a partner that I can trust to make sure that the way I'm living my life, if it needs to be adjusted, I'm going to hear it from her. She'll be like, hey, and that is encouraging. You got somebody there with that kind of strength.
Oh, absolutely. And once again, I'm not arguing the helper in the household, and helper means different things to different people. And what your strengths hopefully, what is it the old guy at Tom's used to say? He used to say, all women are crazy. If they aren't, then they used to be a man. But marry the one whose craziness makes you a better man. Who was that old dude?
I haven't heard that
you
one.
know what I'm talking about.
This whole topic I will not touch.
LJ,
I
You
will
sound like
not.
you're running for office.
I will not
LJ
touch
staying out
this
of-
topic
So
at
let's
all.
get back on topic.
Hey,
Let's
but you
get
know
back
what's
on
funny?
topic.
You know what's funny? You mentioned when I first reached out, and this is important for people to understand, is growth occurs in sometimes uncomfortable situations,
Right.
sometimes pressure situations, sometimes relax. And I have a reputation in town. I'll see people bickering on Facebook, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, meet me for coffee. And the people I really respect will show up and meet me for
Yeah.
coffee, not so I can have an argument with them. But I
No,
wanna, I'm like,
understand.
who are you? What? Talk to
Absolutely.
me. So when I get an invitation, hey, will you be on my show? I will go to every corner of this community and meet with people to learn about them, with my ears open. And sometimes you could leave going like, that was not a positive experience, or I disagree with everything they just said.
Yeah.
I ain't saying that. But
No, you're fine.
other times it's very helpful to understand that we're all living a human condition and that we have different walks, different experiences, different exposures in life. And Jimmy Buffett's got this lyric in a song that says, don't try and describe the ocean if you've never seen it. And I've sat in the homes of extreme poverty with folks on their couch. I've served them, I've prayed for them, I've met them, and I've been in some of the most incredibly fancy, ritzy homes that this community has to offer. And I feel comfortable in both places because I'm sitting with another human being that might have a different experience that I have. Most people are very interested in the military because they've never done the military. Like, man, tell me about that. What's it like being in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean? What's it like landing on a carrier at night on an aircraft when you can't see anything? I'm not a pilot, but I've been in the aircraft, you know?
Yeah.
And those are important shared experiences. Like you brought out World War II relic rifle and showed me, and I'm like, how cool is this piece of history I'm getting a hold right now and check out? I would have never been able to see that had it not showed up today, you know?
Yeah. I think one of my favorite quotes in life, I don't know who's this attributed to, but it says, in similar circumstances, I would be that person. Mm-hmm. So, in similar circumstances, the person I don't care for, but if I lived that person's life and grew up the way they grew up, I'd be that person. So just like you with the coffee meetups, we met up for coffee.
That's right.
Because when you ran, I was like, well, I don't know Tom. Let me see if I can reach out and let me hear him. Let me get to know him as a man. But
how's Tuesday at 9? Boom, see you there.
Yeah.
Just see
but
you there.
I feel the same way. And the older I get, the more mature I get, that hatred or that uneasiness about people, let me further understand who you are and what you are.
100%.
You know, before I put you in a box and throw you away. And I think we as a society, not just Tallahassee, we as a society are doing that, and we're allowing the media and all these other people who are getting paid off of hate and discomfort and everything else. And I just can't. I can't agree with that, because when I sit down with people for coffee, 80 to 90% of the time we agree on 80 to 90% of whatever it is.
Yes,
it's just that small disagreements on this, that, and the other. And it may be huge topics. It may be controversial topics. But overall, if you can agree with a person 80 to 90% of the time and just disagree with this, you're fine. Just learn how to manage the gray areas.
Yeah.
But stop allowing everybody to come in and tell you shouldn't like this person because they're Republican. Oh, Tom, you're the establishment, and I'm a progressive, and you're gonna keep the 3-2 on the city commission, and oh, you're backed by big city money, and learn the man, learn the person. You know what I mean? I love that about that. Keep your mind open, be humble, and put yourself in another person's shoes.
No, 100%, and I agree with everything you said, and that's our motto on the show. And I don't know how much you watched us before you showed up.
Yeah,
is real men having real conversations, not polished floors.
Yeah,
that's right.
And we have a motto that we can disagree and still be friends.
you can't see it. You can see the bottom of my shoe. This is a dirt floor. Like, this is authentic. Your brand, the experience is on point.
That's why we don't have we don't do the whole, as Scott adjusts the camera so we can see the dirt floor a little bit. But that's why we don't have ashtrays.
Yeah.
You just put it straight on the floor.
Yeah.
So Tom, there are two topics
Yeah.
that are running that mean a little bit to me, or at least one of them I was asked to ask you about.
All right.
By a friend of yours.
We'll see if they were a friend. No, I'm just joking.
It's a setup.
No. I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, I'm okay.
And the other one's just personal to me.
Sure.
What is your opinion on the land tax thing coming up? And how is the city going to cope with the losses?
Well,
You talking about the property tax?
Yeah.
For
Yes.
the state.
From the governor.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously something to get nervous about. But I'll tell you what I think happened, and it's pretty obvious when you look at the data and the numbers. Population growth versus revenue growth over time is municipalities got caught with their hand in the cookie jar.
Too many times. Yeah.
Yeah, again and again and again. And there's clearly a correction that's needed. Now, I wish that body of legislation would have come out with some more guidance, some more information. You know, sounds
Some
like
data.
here it is, figured out.
Yeah.
And I've read probably as much as anybody on this subject. And I think what we'll find out is that there's going to be an appropriate correction, that the people who, remember, this is a campaign issue.
Yeah.
Right? It's very different if this is policy that was passed and now we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But the reason, one of the tactics, even in my little race, okay, is fear is an incredible tool to use to motivate people. And so being and when you're afraid, people don't act right. I mean, even when I'm afraid, like if I'm running from a bear, I ain't acting right.
Right.
You know, I'm probably not breathing right. I'm screaming, you know,
Yeah.
because I'm afraid of that bear.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the rhetoric you see right now, and frankly propaganda, is intended to create fear.
Yeah.
If you don't like the government and you believe they've always taken too much, you see tons of it's about time.
Yeah.
We're getting our money back. If you are really opposed to this or trying to discourage people from voting to support it, then you're going to be out there talking about, well, police aren't coming now, fire's not coming now.
Right.
The reality is it
About to burn myself up.
Yeah. Stop, drop, and roll if you catch on fire in the dirt.
Hey, it's dirt. You'll be
Yeah, you'll be fine. You put it out right away.
You might have to dry clean that pretty
Clean
soon.
that
though.
suit.
So listen, man. Without even hesitation, I think one of the things I would do if I was serving on the commission without this is take a critical look at budgets. I served on a few different citizens advisory groups or councils, or
Yeah.
they bring people together. One of those was Parks and Recreation, because I had young children. I wanted to make sure that that was thriving for families.
Yeah.
And it was remarkable that every year, despite the fact that we didn't always see the number of participants growing in programs, the ask for money in like just one department's budget always went up.
Yeah.
I'm like, did we hire new people? No.
But why do you?
Did we add a new park?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Nah.
And look, I know that. I know the leadership there. They want to deliver better service, better parks, better recreation, better ball fields, better. But let's flip back to my experience in life as a business owner. Look, I got a copy machine right now that about 30%, 50% of the time I hit go on it, I got to open a drawer and adjust something, or I get an error. And I would really love a new copy machine right now. But signing another lease, dropping another 15 grand, I have to look within our earnings and say, do I have money to do this thing? And because I want a new copy machine, I can't just call all my clients and say, hey, your monthly retainer just went up $100, just for everybody. It's not much, just $100, right? And I think sometimes the government operates that way, that they'll tell you things, and I think this is the deceptive nature of communications to the constituents is we've gone X number of years without raising property tax, raising the millage. What they don't tell you is your value, your home went up, right? And you're paying more. So it's really this kind of, that's the stuff that citizens get real sick and tired of.
Right.
So that's a long answer to say that a correction is needed. Because this is a political issue, you're going to be told to be afraid and I think that you should look at the math and understand that there's a soft landing for this that communities are going to find, with the exception of rural communities, and they're in big trouble. When I look at my wife's hometown of Blountstown, Calhoun County, there is no tax base there yet. I mean, even what they got, they ain't got it.
No.
And
same
so,
with Quincy and
devastating.
same with Quincy and those smaller communities, Gretna.
What I have been told is that if passes, and let's be honest, I mean, 60% of the people in the state are going to vote to lower their taxes. I mean, it just is what it is.
Well,
but
it's coming from someplace though. They're
going to have to make it up.
Yeah.
Somehow. So I don't know if it's a real. You know.
That's true. That's true. I don't disagree with that.
It's like they're playing semantic.
I personally would prefer, and this is just me. This is not Tom and LJ's opinion. So just my opinion. I'd personally prefer to pay more in sales tax than I would in
property, and
not pay any in property tax. Would be my thing. But for Jefferson County, who I hold dear, like a Wakulla County will be fine.
They're growing crazy.
Wakulla County's growing. They're bringing in new businesses. Sure. They've got a massive Walmart. And from what I've been told, is places that have a super Walmart, like a Taylor County, where they're the Walmart that 3 counties go to.
Yeah.
They can raise sales tax by like 1-2%.
And be fine.
And be fine and make up the money, and it's not a big deal. But Blountstown's probably going to have to go to... honestly, Blountstown is probably going to have to... Is probably going to have to incorporate into like a Jackson County to survive. You're probably going to see losses of... And I know Madison and Taylor County up until the 50s was one massive county.
Yeah.
And as much as they don't want to, you're probably going to have to see that because there's no other way.
Well, and one of the ways they're talking about is that you would get money from the state. And even that is problematic because depending on who's in office, is it by statute? Are you just in the
politics?
Budget? And if you're a blue county,
are you going to get
and
the
you
same?
Got red state government, they cut you a little short.
Yeah.
If you didn't behave the right way, or maybe you have some DEI stuff still going on around, they want to punitively, come down. I mean, the main issue I have with it is not the math as much as it is the real transfer of power.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. It's a transfer of power. So that if you're unhappy with something that's going on in Leon County or the city of Tallahassee, there's a commission right next to you. You're going to see that woman served on that commission in Publix. And they know it. And they're going to see you in the elementary school line. And they're going to see them in the restaurant. You don't see your state representatives. And you never see the federal government. So the farther you push away control of life to the next bigger body of government, the less control people have. Because right now, the people of Tallahassee are frustrated. I'm glad you brought up the 3-2. That is maddening to a lot of people. And I entered the race late. I've said this over and over and over. When I entered the race, the 3 had theirs and the 2 had theirs. And my very presence is disruptive to this process. And one of the main things I talk to people about all the time is I don't have the backing of the 3 or the 2. My purpose is to serve you, the citizen of Tallahassee. And the campaign reports just came out again. Oh, yeah. And despite not having the 3's backing, despite not having the opposition of the 2,
pretty good.
I'm light years beyond those folks. And I've got environmentalists and developers. I got school teachers and nurses and cops, firefighters, stay-at-home moms, small business owners, black, white, Hispanic. You look at my donor base, and I'll tell you one thing. In side note, I like to think, and I believe I'm feeling and observing it. When we were at forums, and I'm standing there with the other folks in the race, it's very friendly. The folks need to know the people, the human beings behind the names are good people, I believe. And one of these gentlemen's spouses said, "Tom, how did you raise that money so fast?" And I said, "You did it in like my first 5 weeks." People had been in the race for 5 and 6 months.
Haven't hit that.
And I blew by them in 5 weeks. And they said, "How did you do that in 5 weeks?" And I said, "Let me tell you, it just as clearly as I can. It took me 25 years to raise that money. It took me 25 years. And she kind of looked puzzled at me, and I said, "I wasn't a candidate. I was a servant leader.
Yes.
And I showed up and said, I'm going to make sure food gets to this home after the hurricane. I'm going to make sure we raise this amount of money for this nonprofit. I volunteer at the Little League field. I volunteer. I would submit to you that I have more true volunteer hours. I don't work for a nonprofit. I have more true volunteer hours probably than the other candidates combined. And then personally, people want to beat you up if you have a successful business. I write more checks to private or nonprofits than anybody in this race, period. And so 25 years of serving, of showing who you are, that you do deliver, that you do what you say you're going to do, it builds you some credibility. So when I call and say, hey, I'm running for office, can you donate? I'm like, yeah, what can I do for you? I said, I hate to ask, I need you in like full, can you hit me with $1,000? And they're like, oh, that hurts. But they believe, and they say, I got you. Because you always had us, I got you. And so to me, I don't shy away from it. There are people that have donated about, I have 600 donors that donated $20 each. I think that shows great trust in the community. People give you $20, they're going to vote for you. That's important. And that's their $20 they gave to you.
Right.
And I may have fewer donors and a larger average. And I'm just as grateful for my donors as they are theirs. I mean, It's interesting.
Well, I asked, like I said, when you hit me up, and I invited you on the show.
Thank you for the $1,000, by the way.
Yeah, that's not happening. Not that I don't love you, and I've enjoyed the time I've got to know
I'm
you.
messing with you, man.
But
I'll take this cigar in this conversation.
If I had $1,000, we'd have a backdrop right now.
I get you one that says Tom for City Commission. It'd look good.
Back, yeah. Do some sponsorships.
I'm sure your opponents, if they ever show up, will. But no, I did my due diligence, because I think we owe the viewers an honest assessment about what I heard. And I didn't, like I said, I told you the only negative thing I found out about it, that anybody said anything about you.
That one thing I'll tell you, if I did interrupt you, sorry. I would say is probably true. When there are really important decisions, I give it very careful thought. I really want to, if my natural tendency is to step forward into it, and it's a big decision, I want to pause. There's a word in Psalms in the Bible is Selah, and it means to pause. And it was actually put there because of the book of Psalms that this is where you should pause for a moment, right? We're about to make a point. And so this concept of Selah is important to me, and I've learned that having the first answer, the first vote, the first policy is often a good starting point for people. But I do want to unpack and understand the decisions I'm making. I don't agonize over like small things, small potatoes, but I will grapple with a decision that's going to affect the lives of the citizens of Tallahassee. And I think that's what people want. They don't want to look at a big decision, and we've had a few. I won't get into any particulars unless y'all want to, but there were some gigantic decisions in Tallahassee this year.
Feel free to get in. I mean, like I said, we are unscripted.
Well, really, is that a negative for Tom, though? Him pausing and making decisions a little bit slower.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't read that as a negative. I read it as an asset.
Positive. I like, because
mine's not made up.
Yeah.
No, I like it when you
thoroughly think through
an issue, and it shows that you're putting in the time and the effort in learning both sides of an issue. And no, I don't think that's a negative at all. I'm with you, LJ. I think that's a positive.
Yeah.
I might be criticizing. I'll tell people that if they watch this or an opponent watches it and splices it and uses it against me, I'll tell them right now, come sit here.
They can't splice it.
Well, whatever they want to do.
No, we actually, when we post it, we actually have it to where they can splice the audio because that can be done, but the video cannot be spliced without our permission.
Well, there's some characters out there.
Oh, yeah.
But what I would say is I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid to meet in different environments with different people with different ideas. I'm a person of faith. I'll sit with an atheist. I want to understand you. Talk to me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, one of the coolest things I think that I've ever heard, and I'll screw up the saying as I'm trying to say it, but it says share the gospel and speak when you have to. I think I think we see many examples through Christ's life where he walked in and he washed the feet of those with real dirty feet. He brought out of sin, brought out of pain people that the community and society had cast aside. So I don't have a fragile faith or fragile beliefs where I can't be in the presence of other ideas, you know.
Well, I think that's a strong point. I really do. I don't think that's a bad thing. And I kind of liked your pointing out of the land tax issue. I like the way you worded that. It as a guy that has been for it, I will say you made me stop and think about it going into state hands instead of local hands.
Yeah.
And you made me stop and think about that for a second, because I never...
You can vote on August 18th, you could vote and we could change our taxes. Now, you have to have the willpower to do it, you know. You have to have leaders that'll step up and say, you know, I think all candidates, until they've served, are a little bit, you are naturally naive to the realities of policy, legislation, statute, you know. I hear there's candidates on the trail right now saying they're promising to deliver affordable housing. And I'm like, okay. They're going to change the cost of groceries.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
I sit on the board for affordable housing, and not just to talk about that issue specifically, I'm like, if I could talk about a broader issue of we operate in a city manager style government. Mm-hmm. So not just with these candidates today or the last election and the election before that, but it's disingenuous to tell constituents that you're going to do. I hate it to begin with, because candidates go out and say things like, I'm going to affect crime. I'm going to do this for affordable housing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do this. Whatever the issue is, we are in a city manager style government where you have 5 commissioners. Well, you have the mayor, which is nothing more than a city commissioner.
Right.
If you don't have soft skills and you can't build coalitions, everything you're telling the constituents is a lie.
Yeah.
You can't do anything for affordable housing. You can't do anything for crime. If you cannot build relationships, and just like you were saying earlier about raising money, how would you raise money so quickly?
Yeah.
And you said it took 25 years.
Yeah.
It's infrastructure that has to go on for you to be successful.
Right.
And these folks in the current cycle that's running and all the previous cycles, if you're not in the community doing what you need to do, you're wasting people's time. Go ahead and drop out of the election.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It may not be your time. And the same thing with the folks on the city commission. Okay, you got a 3-2 split. It is what it is. That 3-2 split isn't stopping you from going out in the community and working with these universities to get whatever done. So don't tell me about, well, the 3-2 split, you know, I couldn't do whatever it is. Get your ass out and go do some work. Like, I can't stand that, man. You're bullshitting me. You're bullshitting the constituents.
Yeah.
You're getting that paycheck and not doing the goddamn work.
Yeah, what is it, $90,000 or something like that?
Well, it just got raised the last election.
$100,000.
Yeah. But I pushed back on that because the county commissioners were already making that. And I feel like the city, you do more work on the city, and they were only making $40,000, so that means they had to do another job or something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm fine with that, but
it's interesting you talk about. I look at that through the leadership lens, right? Like I came into units in the military. You get transferred every few years, and they just go, "Whoop, you're going here."
Yeah.
And you might drop into a high performing unit that's operating really efficiently with people who respect each other. They understand the mission. They're getting it done. The culture set from the leadership that says, here's how we will perform with excellence.
Yeah.
And then I've walked into units that are a shit show. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And so, to me, if your success is hanging on the need for a majority baked-in vote, you're actually not leading.
At all.
You're not taking the time to listen to others, to find a place that you can get to together. Every vote's not going to be 5-0.
No.
But why is it that, I mean, just this week we see with the annexation piece for this chunk of land and some of the policies, like, whoop, there we go, 3-2.
Okay, so we're going to take a short break, stretch our legs.
Yeah.
I do always like to point out our brothers' accomplishments. If you go to Amazon, you can buy a book called Father to Father, Brother to Brother from Greg Robinson. Go look at carterscorner.org. Check out Dr. Carter and tell the people where they can find your information.
From a campaign perspective, Tom for Tallahassee.com is right where you can find it.
Go check out Tom. And I always say, if you want to be a sponsor, it's a good time to, put your ad up.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a short break and we'll come right back. All right, we are back. We always take those breaks so we can stretch our legs. Great time for a sponsor. Tom, give us your website again.
Tom for Tallahassee.com. So Tom, F-O-R, Tallahassee.com.
All right, and I will tell you, if I do an insurance company, we've never advertised on here before, but if you go to 10 Insurance Group on Facebook, you will find my insurance company. Feel free. Also, feel free to message us. We'll get the message to Tom. If there's anything you want to ask Tom, if it's relevant, we will ask it. We don't do the, hey, hi, how you doing type of thing like other podcasts do, because honestly, I can't see it and it kind of messes up the flow of the conversation.
Right.
But Tom, once again, I do appreciate you coming on. I know that non-scripted is always kind of scary for politicians, but we do pride ourselves in not hit pieces and allowing people to explain themselves.
Sure.
And I think you did an excellent job on my first question. And my next question, before I turn it basically over to LJ and y'all can talk about city things in depth, because obviously LJ is our Tallahassee consultant on the show.
Yeah.
One day he might get paid for it.
That's smart man.
I'm getting paid right now.
But LJ kind of knows everything there is to know about city politics. But it's something kind of dear to my heart. The flea market shut down in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
I think the original flea market just stopped advertising and stopped caring, and it hurts Tallahassee when there's not a flea market, especially in today's economy.
Sure.
There is another flea market that opened up on North Monroe Street.
Right.
But I hear the city's giving them heck about a lot of things. I don't know how conversed you are on that subject.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about having a flea market in town and helping a flea market make it in town? And if you know some of the inside things going on with it, whether good or bad,
Yeah.
feel free to fill us in, because I don't know anything good or bad about it. I just, hear from what I know on the outside looking in.
Sure. So I think our role as the government can be summarized in a story that really happened. I'm on the board of directors at Winthrop Park Little League, and my boys were playing, I was a coach. So I showed up early before a game, and we were the first game of the evening. And so it's like, I'm there at like 4:45, 5 o'clock, and the city staff were there. So the government was there, okay? And they were lining the field. They cut the field. They were blowing out the dugouts and getting things ready for competition. They created the environment where something positive could happen, where families could come together, where competition could occur, growth of these young athletes, community experience. But it was the parents, the volunteers, the members of the community who make that park succeed. Ultimately, that's the heartbeat of it, right?
Yeah.
And so when I think about something like the flea market, which I'll answer one of your questions, they're the coolest places, man.
They are.
You can treasure hunt.
Find crazy stuff.
If you have means and do your primary shopping at Publix or one of these stores, you can go treasure hunt and explore and meet very cool, interesting people. If you are struggling, there's also economic opportunity there, either to spin up a business and generate revenue for your family, or to buy things like tennis shoes, clothes, vegetables, bowl peanuts, you know what I mean? Cotton candy, all the good stuff too. But I think that is a very cool piece of every community where they exist. And it was sad to see the big flea market close.
Yeah.
When I look at now that wasn't public land, that was private land down there. So
Yes.
that if a business fails,
It is.
that's sad, right?
It fails.
Yeah.
But when I see what we see going on North Monroe Street, good intentions, folks that want to bring this back. And my role as a city commissioner would be to get involved in, I kind of think of it as the Chick-fil-A mentality. Like, how can we help you?
Yeah.
So rather than using law enforcement or code or whatnot, meeting with the folks trying to do it and say, hey, how can we help you succeed? This is not exactly the environment that we planned or we've created for what's happening here. Talk to me about your vision. What can we do? And then whatever the issues are, try to be a helpful elected official that goes to bat for that body of people and becomes counselor, right? I have connectivity to the city staff because I'm a city commissioner and I can meet with the right departments. They will take my call, right? And then I have connectivity to the citizens trying to do a thing. And again, it goes back to bringing folks together to say, hey, I think I've figured out the core issue is traffic, egress, fire, and sanitation. So, how do you help me solve these? Do we need a light there? Do we need the people putting this together to pay an off-duty officer to sit there? Do we need them to call like a porta potty type place because we have some cooking and foods going on without water? Whatever the situation is, how can we help folks succeed? And it goes back to that Little League field where, hey, look, we're creating the environment for you to thrive and compete and enjoy life. And then we need to get out of your way and let you do it.
Yes.
And if you're struggling with it, how can we be counselor to you, not the police of you? Is that, if I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
No, I like the answer, actually.
Yeah.
And I will say that I wish more people in office took that approach to it. I really do. I find that in my experience, and everybody knows I'm a Waukesha County boy, that's why I know most of local politics at.
Right.
Know a little bit of Monticello politics, Jefferson County, because I go to church over there. And I find that they take on, the banter of we're either going to help the business community grow or we want to stop the business community from growing.
Right.
It's never, hey, you're a private citizen. What can I do to help you? That's definitely more of a servant's mentality, which I think originally that's what our original founders and original politicians thought of themselves.
Sure. Well, they had typically made it. It would have been, sadly in our communities, it would have been white business leaders back through the majority of last century, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look forward now, it somehow has become, there's always this like social movement, or you got to be mad at somebody to lead, or you're trying to shove an agenda on a community rather than, serve it and represent it. When you go to Chick-fil-A and order and say thank you, what do they say?
It's my pleasure.
My pleasure.
My pleasure, yeah.
That doesn't, they say it all the time, and
Yeah.
my boys joke, they like to say thank you a few times. Thank you, my pleasure.
Thank you,
Hey,
thank you,
thank you, my pleasure. Trying to trip them up.
Yeah.
But that happens at the top. That culture,
Top down.
started at the very top and is filtered through to how they govern themselves. How, if you own a Chick-fil-A, you have to work in it. There's things they do to preserve that. And I think if we could have a cultural shift, that I believe it can begin within the city commission, where we look at folks in the planning department or permitting and say, we really want to find a way to encourage you, incent you, support you to say, let me help you find a way.
I think to piggyback off of that, and you've been in Tallahassee for a while, and you've been in the area for a while. In the last election, I got to know Rudy Ferguson, who ran for city commission,
Right.
and be kind of close. And I'm blessed that he allowed me in to kind of sit down and see really what this is. But in doing that, I got to really pay attention to other races and everything else. What was surprising to me was that you had active city commissioners who were not up for re-election supporting openly the opponent of people you serve with.
Right.
So
Create some bad blood.
yeah, so what happened, everybody that was on the commission got reelected. So now the issue is, how do you govern with someone that you openly supported their opponent? And that's why the city's so toxic to me.
Sure.
In this way.
Yeah.
Do you not read? My father is big on soft skills. When I graduated high school, he gave me the book "How to Win Friends and Influence People"
Yep.
by Dale Carnegie.
Yep.
And I'm always thinking about that. Like, do you not know the implications of? Do you not know what your actions created? And then
Right.
you get up there, and I'm not. It's kind of sounds like I'm talking about a specific group of people, and I may be, and I'll be upfront with it. How can you then whine about? Well, we're not together.
Right.
What do you
Right.
mean? I don't get it. Like, you're playing in people's faces. You got your base of folks who's going to support you no matter what. And Tallahassee operates in silos.
Yeah.
You got the progressives. You got the business community. You got the universities. And then, Tom, you see me at networking events. I see you at networking events. Bro, don't we see the same people over
All
and
the
over
time.
and over and over and over again?
All the time.
It's all the same people.
Yep.
So, I don't know, man. How do we get all these different silos to focus on Tallahassee or greater Tallahassee? And I was fortunate enough to speak with, I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, the former mayor of Raleigh. And I'm a big fan of Raleigh.
Okay.
Yeah. I wrote him a letter, and I was like, well, Raleigh seems to be like Tallahassee was years ago, but Raleigh's developed now. They got that healthcare hub up there.
Yeah.
Downtown's redone. They got the civic center and everything else. Mm-hmm. And I was asking him, like, what happened? How did you get this done? Because he was the mayor from, if I'm not mistaken, 2001 through 2011. And he told me he took the plan that they came up with, a long-term plan for the city, and Tallahassee produces them, these long-term plans. Yeah. And he took it to the business community, and they got it done. It didn't matter who came,
right.
Who got elected or who didn't get elected. But it's just so, Tallahassee, politically speaking, to me, is toxic.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we're a smaller city, so it's more personable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we know each other. We know where we go to church, and we know you go to Publix over here, and you're part of this organization.
Yep.
I don't get that. When I sit on the south side and go to the Lucky Goat for coffee down there on South Adams, right past the Capitol, it angers me looking out that window. And you look at, speaking just for workforce and economic development,
Yeah.
it's nothing over there. It's old car shops and this, that, and the other.
Oh wow, that's disruptive.
Yeah. But it should anger you when you go to certain parts of the city. The 32304 zip code, that's been like that for years.
Yeah.
So a lot of the issues that we currently have today, affordable housing, crime, the 32304 zip code, and so many other issues aren't anything new. We've been knowing about them for years and years and years and years. We get people on the city commission that promises, like you were saying, we're going to change affordable housing. We're going to do this for crime. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You know, like, what is it really going to take to make this a city? Because right now we have 2 cities. We have 3 cities.
Yeah.
You got the folks up in Bannerman in their own community now. You got the folks on the south side. You got the student. Like,
Yeah.
it angers you when you, especially when you go and travel a lot too, and you go to Austin, Atlanta, and Raleigh. My position, if I can say position, is Tallahassee has everything it needs and more to be one of the top capital cities in the country. And we bicker and fight, and these folks get this and these folks get this, and we're gonna keep these folks down here, and we're gonna manipulate them with this. And I'm tired of it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I meet for coffee 5-6 times a week with different folks from all across the city, and I hear the same thing, that people are tired of nonsense. Like, why can't we do better and have more wages and everything else?
Right.
We have these educational institutions that we're not using. We have some of the best in the world: FAMU, Florida State, Kaiser, Lively, all these places. We can get the data. How do we do more?
Right. And listen, you kind of hit the nail on the head with the soft skills and recognizing that there's other humans that you're serving with, right?
Yeah.
I've checked this out. There's a way to pull it off, and I'm going to do it legally. I intend on winning. I'd love to win in August. I think it's mathematically very difficult.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll wait till November. And I don't say that arrogantly. We have good people in the race, but if you're not running to win,
What's the point?
What you doing?
Yeah.
But we're gonna have a dinner at my home, around my table, with every elected official and their significant other, and we're gonna break bread, and we're gonna eat dinner, and you're gonna tell me your pet's name, and you're gonna see how much I love my grandkids. I want to know where you traveled, what you like to do when you're not serving.
Right.
It's a possible thing. It's not illegal. It's not a secret.
Now, I will ask. I like that idea, and I really do. But I know we're gonna get somebody in the comments
violating sunshine laws.
Explain why that's not violating sunshine laws.
Because we're not talking about business.
Yeah.
We're not talking about any business.
Building relationships and knowing each other.
Okay, cool.
It's not politics. It's not business. It's not policy. I want to know who you are as a human. Now, listen. I've had the opportunity to have coffee with Jack Porter many, many times, and she is an extremely intelligent, educated, holds a residency in like 2 different countries, speaks another 2 languages, I think.
Yeah.
She's a very interesting human being. I've met with Jeremy many times.
Yeah.
And he's a very interesting guy. I've met with Diane and Curtis and John, and I know them as humans.
Right.
And I see actually that you were kind of alluding to earlier about running against one another, and then they all get reelected. And it's easy maybe to look at a group and say, you were the catalyst for this friction. And I think that's pretty clear. I mean, but the other group has an adult responsibility.
Right.
And I've met with them, and this one individual said, oh, no, we get along. But in the same breath, they continued, you just don't know what it's like to have someone vigorously criticize you and run an opponent against you and then expect to serve with you. So even at the end of that person's comment about how we all get along, there was still obvious pain.
Right,
and they were hurt as people. It was personally hurtful. And that's hard to get over. That's hard to get over. But then I think at some point, somebody has to be the adult in the room that says, hey,
we still have to get stuff done.
Yeah, and I saw an example of this. And they said it was politics. I'll use names here because they matter. But last fall or last year at some point, Jeremy Matlow introduced a motion to name the new bus station after Curtis Richard.
Yeah. Curtis was like,
I saw that as an olive branch, and I think the other side had been so politically attacked for so long. They were like, "This is a move to be the nice guy. We're not going to let him." And then Curtis sort of rejected it, but then Diane jumped in, and I hope to serve with them. I want them to know I say this respectfully. I hope we can get beyond this. And said something like, "Well, you owe him an apology first." And I was thinking, what if that was the apology? What if that was the olive branch? What if that was a gesture?
Tell them I'm gonna being around these folks too. I'm gonna throw my perspective in on this.
Yeah.
From what I know, ears to the ground, ears to the street,
Yeah.
that's before Mr. Matlow announced he was running for mayor.
So he was kind of
From
remaking himself.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. You know, that he was just doing that. I work with Curtis Richardson, and I'm gonna be the bigger person, and
Right.
I'm gonna name this after him, and
Yeah.
that's how ears to the street. I won't say who this came from,
Sure.
but high up places.
Well, that's pretty.
You know?
I think it's obvious. And if Jeremy watches this, I wanted to know he's heard this phrase. He's heard this phrase, but the business community and leaders that he had criticized so critically.
He went to that chamber conference, man, and caught hell.
Oh yeah, but what was interesting was the community started to say, well, Jeremy's on his apology tour because he wants to be mayor, and so there's also the need to be genuine in your gesture. So I watched it and thought, for the people who aren't that engaged, could have seen that as a body beginning to work together, but the point is there were just very open wounds.
Yeah.
Still.
Yes.
And they're like, nope.
Not at all.
We're not giving you that. Sorry. Yeah. And look, Jeremy, in 2016, I think the year's right. Might have been
when he
15.
first got elected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a candidate, you're given lists of people. Hey, call these people. Set up a coffee. See if you can give them the support. See get them to give you some money. So I met him at Red Eye outside. There's 2 tables sitting there. We sat at one of them, and I said, man, look, I love supporting candidates. I'm not a wealthy person. I don't know what I can do, but, I like to meet people before I write you a check. And
of course.
I'm not a puppet. Hey, give them money.
Yeah.
I need to know what's the cut of your cloth. Like, hey, what you got? And he sat down and he said, look, I grew up in poverty on the South Side, single mom. We've all heard the story, probably.
Yeah.
I'm a small business owner, and I care very much about those that are struggling in our community. I looked at the composition of the commission. I said, I think that'd be a good voice to have,
Different perspective, yeah.
I gave him $100 or whatever it was. And then a few years later, up for re-election, wants to get together, and I met again. I said, hey, look, I think you've rendered yourself incapable of leading. I understand what you want to do for the people who need you to do it, but you've basically pissed off
You boxed yourself.
everybody.
You boxed yourself. I don't understand with him, how are you a small business owner, and optic wise you seem to be against the business and he may say that's not fair or not true, but it comes off that you're playing to this pro developer or anti-development, and then you go, it wasn't genuine when he appeared at the chamber conference in August, and you talk so bad about these folks, and now you're showing up to a place that you criticize and trying to garner their support. It's just so
accuse them of illegal activity.
And then you show up there. Like, what were you expecting? That's like me talking bad about someone's daughter, and I'm gonna show up to your house for dinner. What are we doing?
When you look at that dynamic, I think, and I can tell you for sure, I've walked neighborhoods from Indian Head to Gaither to Summerbrook, knocking on doors. Wearing out shoes on this campaign, and people everywhere are sick of the bickering.
Oh man!
I would not want to be an incumbent in a race, to be honest with you, because I think everybody's kind of like,
I'm sure you have in a city commission. That they have twice a month on Wednesdays, and you sit there and you say, look at this shit show, this is better than Jerry Springer, and you see them go back and forth. You see them go back and forth like that. I'm like, this is our elected officials. And it goes back to what you were saying too about the pain and the scars that are unhealed, and they come up because what I was just telling you, I heard directly from the mouth of, I won't say who, but you could hear it when Nah.
Yeah.
When they were
When they
telling
were
me,
saying it, yeah.
you
I
could
got
hear
you.
it in their voice how upset that they were about. Oh, you trying to name something after me, and
Yeah.
like
It feels like a little bit
like
of
well,
false,
how dare
false
you?
flag.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of the city's ready to move beyond that. The electorate is ready, and they want somebody that can bring folks together. They want people willing to work together and get us moving in the right direction. It's funny you mentioned, Raleigh and Greenville, Austin, Charlotte. I love the business we do in Tallahassee, but the majority of my business is across North America, and we're working with. Part of my business does public transportation marketing, so we'll help promote the bus system, or there's these organizations called transportation planning organizations, TPOs.
Yeah.
And we have our CRTPO here, and so I know all that language. And those bodies spin off work groups to change culture in communities, like to bring a festival here, to change, like, hey, Soma, we want to become this vision. And they bring together private industry, public, they bring the nonprofits.
Yeah.
They develop the plan. The city's job is to create that baseball field for people to go in and get stuff done, to play, compete, to thrive. And I think that's what folks are ready to get back to. And I see, frankly, now look, some of these communities, they have Mercedes-Benz or BMW headquarters. They have some things going on.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, we have all the ingredients here. And one of the things, I'll take us here for a second, that I'm excited about is, you might not like how we got here. I didn't particularly enjoy it.
The hospital.
But the opportunity to have an academic medical center. And when
Amazing.
they talk about bringing those research dollars down,
Oh man.
my promise to the citizens of Tallahassee is I'm going to be Tallahassee's cheerleader. It should be the mayor. I don't know who the mayor is going to be, because that's technically like maybe the spokesperson for the city.
Yeah.
But I'm going to look into the universe and visit businesses on my own money and say, do you want to thrive in the free state of Florida? Do you want to do business in the capital city where you can be in the shadow of policymakers with your pharmaceutical company, with your medical device? My son has type 1 diabetes, so he wears 2 different devices to help manage his glucose. And those people want to do business, to do research. You look at FAMU's College of Pharmacy, you look at Florida State's Academic Medical Center, what Jim Murdaugh over at TSC is doing.
Yeah, man, amazing.
TSC will say, what do you need, industry?
Oh man.
And they will spin up a program to put out world-class.
I love how they build the curriculum.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Lively.
They
Same
do it.
thing, man. Nursing is a Team H. How many nursing assistants you need? Oh, we need 100. Boom, here we go. They get it done. Goodwill actually does that too.
Yeah, with Kim Gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim.
Awesome.
Kim's amazing.
She's great. But I want to go to the world and tell that story, and then my clients flying sometimes on private planes, so I'm going to go out to Millionaire.
Yeah.
In the black Suburban and
Yeah,
pick up
pick
that
'em up.
pick up that CEO. And when she steps off that plane and gets in, I'm gonna say, "Man, welcome to Tallahassee. We are open for business. What can we do for you?" Now, here's what scares me. Tallahassee has a history of being afraid of its own shadow.
Oh, bro.
We are littered with opportunity
And we
out
squander.
of fear. And
Yeah.
I can tell you a scenario that could happen. I don't have a company in mind, but we have, say, let's just make up a funny number. We have 10 acres of pine trees out there by the airport,
Yeah.
right? It's not shovel ready. It's not site ready.
Nah. Yeah.
But let's just act like we're ready for a second. We got a company that comes in and says, hey, we're going to bring on 250 jobs in Tallahassee to do research around diabetes. We're going to use the college, FAMU's pharmacy team. We're going to work with Academic Medical Center, TMH, and FSU. And here's what we're going to do. That company's going to say, we would like some tax incentives.
To come in. Yeah.
And this city will freak out and reject it.
Yeah.
And so right now they're growing pine trees with nothing.
Yeah.
Not a single job, no revenue, nothing. And what that tells me is you are okay with poverty. You are okay with the cost of living. You're okay with unaffordable housing. You're okay with a static economic environment, and with people living this way. Like, because think about this, man, real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
That company spins up. You got those new jobs, from the top down.
Yeah.
From the top, you've got that new executive leadership suite.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
got middle management. You've got the employees. You've got the person cutting that lawn, cleaning that bathroom. You've got the receptionist at the front. You've got the people who built it. And I think you have to have longer vision and say, here's how we're going to become the medical research epicenter of the country over the next 20 years. And it starts with
Let's
us.
say the land tax thing passes,
Uh-huh.
and Tallahassee is going to have to survive off of sales tax, more sales tax.
Okay.
Now, maybe I'm just a dumb old boot-wearing country boy from a county that had one red light when I graduated high school.
Right.
But would not bringing in more people that have the ability to buy more things
Yes. Help.
give you more revenue?
Right.
It would help with so many different things. I want to touch on a couple of things you said with the hospital. The hospital, the way that went down, I think it was quick. I think in talking to folks, not just in the city commission chambers while it was going on, and just, like I said, meeting up with folks across the city, I think that's an amazing thing. I grew up in Green Cove Springs, so outside of Gainesville,
Right.
and you got UF and Shands, and that's amazing what they've done. The issue, care from you,
Right.
and everything else, and I think the city, from a publicity aspect, shot themselves in the foot over and over and over and over and over again with that, not answering. I don't know if y'all play games, but you used to have a FAQ, frequently asked questions, and putting something out there like that would ease the minds of so many people. Like, you created a situation where you had more folks. You had more folks. You had airport and everything else to ensure that these businesses come here and stay here. And you look at wages in Tallahassee. Oh man, because most folks work for the state, and then or state related, and the wages are bad.
They're a client, and I said this publicly in a meeting, but I'll leave them out of this. They own a major credit union in Florida, and at a breakfast forum, he was giving remarks, and said, what's changing and how are you using AI? And this is important for Tallahassee.
Oh yeah.
He said, well, one of the ways we're using it, we haven't fired folks, we aren't rehiring when they leave or move on, is we used to say have 25 loan officers looking at very basic loans like auto loan, boat loan, even home loans, and that there's a parameter, that you work in. There's clear red no's, bankruptcies, low credit scores, and then there's green lights, like yes,
let's go.
And so they had human beings reading these and passing paper or forwarding emails to get an approval, and now they have AI doing the majority of that. So what 20 people used to do, now they have 4 or 5. Tallahassee needs to be very aware that if they believe that all those buildings full of desks and cubicles of people that are doing similar tasks, which is happening everywhere. And I'm not diminishing the role of state employees and their commitment to the state. But I'm just saying those jobs are not going to be here in 10 or 15 years. So when you say the future of Tallahassee, well, we got the government, we got FSU, we got FAMU, we got TS, we're good. You're not good.
No.
You were not good. And it doesn't mean your career is gonna end, but maybe they look and say, hey, this person retires in 5 years, we're not gonna rehire. So I don't think it's gonna bite Tallahassee like
instantly
overnight. But if you don't start to figure out how to, I hate when people use the word diversify your economy. But to be honest, if you don't start to diversify, the economic development efforts, which, interesting, come under a lot of criticism in Tallahassee.
At Office of Economic Vitality and what we're doing and not doing. And
here's one of the things from some preliminary meetings I've had. And as a candidate, there's a little bit of, even though these are good people, like, I know Daryl, I respect Daryl and Keith and the staff. I mean, as professionals, I find them to be capable.
Amazing.
Yes, absolutely. But my conversations are back to that airport situation, right? So they could have a company. I could bring them. I could deliver that black car. She could step out, get in the elevator, and go up and say, hey, talk to me. Imagine if I told you, hey, your job's to hit home runs, and I put you in the batter's box, and you're like, all right, I can. And they said, well, hold on a second. Let me tie one hand behind your back, and then I'm going to plant 1 foot in concrete and put an eye patch on you. And say, but go. I mean, why do we have, if we have all of these constraints and restrictions and this, lack of desire to grow, what do we have the whole department trying to bring industry here for? Like, unleash them. Let them go.
So at your announcement, I was talking to Eddie on the side. I said, Eddie, for a business to come here, like you were just talking about, one of these big businesses, healthcare or whatever, where are the folks that, I guess it's their job to take them around Tallahassee to sell Tallahassee to them? Where are we taking them? Like, what are we doing?
They're getting in my truck and we're going for a ride.
You know what I mean? Like,
when I get elected,
I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what is it? Cascades, and where are we taking them to really bring in, business? So I'm a big fan of, again, long-term planning. Why can't we, if we know, with FSU Health, we're going to need so many jobs and this, and this, why can't we plant the seed in our own school system and plant the seed of, okay, we don't have to fully come up with some curriculum, for whatever the program is, but introduce what Tallahassee's going to need in the elementary schools, reinforce it in the middle schools, and we have worlds of work.
My son participates in it,
which is amazing. I think it's just for the freshmen and sophomores or something like that. I know they do something.
Yeah, he
different.
was a sophomore and went his freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah. But I want to touch on
Waterworks.
Waterworks is a workforce development program to pretty much introduce the students to our local workforce that they may not know about.
Like tables.
But,
Like the Civic Center?
No, it's TSC.
Oh, at TSC.
Yeah.
But the Bus Thomason from Leon High School students.
Yeah.
You get off, and it's almost like a trade show.
It is.
So if you're the local plumber, an electrician, you got a lawn company, you're a healthcare provider, all around there are people just talking to students saying, yes, here's what it means to get a job.
But they kind of show you, to the best of their ability, what that day-to-day is like in that environment. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I love that. I'm like, we should do more. We should do more of that and train them to what Tallahassee's going to need.
That's right.
And not just Tallahassee. I think as a elected official, you're not just thinking about Tallahassee. You're thinking about Gaston, Wakulla. You have to work with all of these folks to bring in business. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. I don't know about you guys, but when I drive into Atlanta, I'm not exactly sure where Atlanta begins and ends.
Yes.
Because it's the greater Atlanta area. We've got to change our vision for this community to be the greater Tallahassee region. And if Tallahassee can't get it together and we can't make the land work, rather than drive her back to her plane, I want to be on the phone with Gaston County or Wakulla County or
the EDOs over there.
Like, hey, we can't seem to get it together. But I would still rather those 200 employees
go right up the road.
Because you know where their CPA will be here.
Yeah.
They'll probably live here.
Yeah.
They're going to shop here.
Yep.
The doctor will be here. They're going to go to movies here. They're going to eat out here. I mean, my wife being from Bluntstown is funny because you're an hour from PC, Panama City, you're an hour from here. And if it's your birthday or anniversary or a special thing, you're going out to dinner.
Yeah,
you're going here or there.
Yeah.
So I say rather than let them go to South Florida, and Skip Foster has an interesting platform called Red Tape Florida where he's documenting a few things. Really with a great deal of journalistic integrity and true, probably 30, 40 years of journalism experience. And he's documented, I think, at least 2 times that companies came here to look, and wanted to be here, like first choice, and they end up in West Palm or Fort Lauderdale. We can't wait around for a year.
I've been hearing that my entire life. And I tell you what, not to intervene too much because Lord knows y'all talking more policy and it's good. But I know my niece just graduated high school.
Yeah.
And she is already in LN from high school.
Yeah.
And is going to school, and she's got 2 years left of college to become an RN right out of high school. And that's in little Nashville, Georgia. Okay. So if little bitty Berrien County, which is, small as all get out, can make that happen, why can't...
It's not that they can't make it happen. They can make it happen. I don't know what the true motive is or what have you, but I used to be at a workforce development company in Tallahassee. And being in that... in that space, you look at things completely different, man. You would think, well, we're here to help people get jobs and develop the workforce.
Right.
It's red tape, it's politics, and we don't produce. And that's why I had to get out. But in being there, man, I was like, well, can I create a program on my own to get rid of the red tape? Capital Career Pathways, man, where I partnered up with Lively Tech. Yeah. And I said, okay, y'all have all these programs, but let me focus on the hard to hire programs like HVAC, plumbing, and stuff like that, and match them directly up with a local employer. Because, Tom, I don't know if you know this, our talent retention in Tallahassee from just the universities is like 19%. That's how much we're keeping of those students here in the local economy. And I think it should be so much more. We are blessed. Think about these rural counties Lee County and all these other rural counties, on I-10. Those places are dying. You pretty much have to incentivize professionals to go there. Right. We don't have that issue. Mm-mm. Like we keep saying, we have everything here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But with the Capital Career Pathways, I want the companies to get relationship-wise, relationship building. I want the companies to come in as soon as they start the program and build a relationship up with 3 or 4 of these companies. Mm-hmm. And we know your culture, we know your pay, we know your boss. Yep. And I can't guarantee you a job, but I can damn sure set the environment up.
Right.
So when you graduate, we can.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee the job, but we can damn sure set it up.
Yeah.
But then pair that with affordable housing and everything else, or who we know in affordable housing to keep you in the area. We're losing billions of dollars. Tallahassee is a pipeline for a bigger city because the students that leave here are going to Atlanta, LA, and no.
That's why we have a reputation for we're in the import-export business.
Oh, yeah.
We import all these bright minds. Very hard to get in Florida State, TSC.
Yeah.
We bring them in, 30,000?
Oh, man, yeah.
Boom, boom, every year. And then we export that talent to the world.
Gone.
But we have got to give them a reason to stay. And I was on WFSU recently doing an interview, and I said, what's the main thing? It used to be 10 or 15 years ago, we have no culture, we have no nightlife, we have no restaurants, we have no breweries.
Yeah.
We got it all now.
Yeah.
We are a cool town, we just don't know it. Now what we need is jobs for people to stay in.
Yeah.
And when they graduate, if they want to stay in Tallahassee, you got to be able to look around and say, say I'm an accounting major or something like that, I got to be able to find, several opportunities here. And sometimes they just don't exist. Even if you want to stay, it's not available to you.
And I look at it from a guy who spends a lot of time in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
And, I go all around the city for work, as well as the counties that y'all are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I was in Bluntstown last week, and I'll be there Monday.
Right.
That's my heart. My family, I was telling Stephanie, my mother's family's from Bluntstown and Weewall and Scotts Ferry and all them little small towns.
I know.
But, I go out and I look at the airport side of Tallahassee. And then I go to Atlanta, I go to Orlando.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's a little bit different.
Yeah.
In the way that they have it set up. But most of the time, you go near the airport and you have hundreds of businesses.
Yeah.
And Tallahassee, to me, seems like we have the wide open land to do that with. And I mean, not only that, but you always talk about bringing and helping out the 04 zip code.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me like you could bring in so much wealth to the 04 that it's craziness.
It's like generationally transformative if you can give somebody a career, period.
Yes.
Like, done. To me, when people hear me talking about economic development, I try to just focus on what I'm doing, but every now and then I'll stumble across another campaign says something and maybe take a little shot at me. And the narrative is, if you're struggling in life, you want to blame someone. And so some of these folks are feeding off that and saying, to blame is the business community. To blame is industry. To blame is the guy driving a nice car. The gal driving a nice car, right? Here's what my life experience has been as a business owner is about, you have more money going out in the community than going into your pocket. So you go to every Little League field and look at that fence, and as a plumber, marketing firm, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Private industry. You go to any gala, you go to the ballet, you go to the symphony and open up the back of the book, and people are giving generously because they care. Second Harvest is raising millions of dollars to expand. Where'd that money come from?
The people, the business community, man.
When I'm in debates or forums with folks and they start to criticize, I was like, hey, cool. Then just don't ever ask them for any money again. If they're so offensive, just do yourself a favor and don't even reach out and say, hey, could you sponsor the Little League team?
A poor man's never created a job a day in his life.
Right.
And, when you look at it, I have said this most of my adult life, and I've said it to many candidates. I don't understand why education and business no longer work together.
Yeah.
They should be tied at the hip.
Should be. And 50, 60 years ago, they were. If you had a big plant in that community, they were teaching people how to do that job coming out of high school so they could go make 3 times the amount of wage that they were working at a gas station or something like that.
Right.
And nowadays, it's kind of like business enemy
Yeah.
to education. And I
don't get it.
I don't get it at all, because you're not, it's almost, and I hate to say this, but to me, it seems like education wants people to grow up and be jobless. Is honestly what it sounds like to me, by the way that we educate people nowadays, by the things that we teach them, and then we look at them and we're just like having Starbucks on, and did you watch when the founder of Starbucks was before the congressional hearing, and they were drilling him and all this
about
stuff,
his salary and getting on him,
and he's like, I started this from nothing, and
How dare you
how dare I,
live the American dream and come from nothing and build something great?
yeah.
That's crazy. That's exactly what we should be encouraging people to do. I've never once, and I've been very broke, like having triple digit amount of money in my life, in the lower end of that, like hundreds of dollars, total asset, total money, period. And I never got in a car and went to my shitty job and was like, man, if it just weren't for those business owners, I'd have a shot. How dare they be successful?
I'm in Dollar General the other day.
Yeah.
And there's this kid up there. And I don't know how old he was, but he's just dishing Dollar General while he's working there like every customer. And I waited around for the line to stop, where it was just me and him.
Yeah.
And I pulled him aside and I'm like, look, said, you're probably never going to see me again.
Yeah.
Because I hate shopping anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
I said, but you are killing your future right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean I'm killing my future? I said, you never know when the guy who can give you everything you want out of life
Could be your customer.
And instead of towing the company line, which you get paid to do, they are paying you to toe the company line and be the face of the company. You are dishing that company. I said, instead, man, why don't you change the mindset? Be a guy that says, no matter what happens, Dollar General's the best place in the world. And I said, you might not.
Right.
But you might have somebody walk through these doors. I said, it happened to me. I said, I was working at Toys R Us. 5 corporate lawyers bought out Toys R Us. I lost my really nice paying hourly wage, and they fired me because I was making stupid money because I could sell those little buyer protection plans.
Right.
I wind up working at a Indian gas station and an Indian hotel. Shout out to the people that owned it. They were great people. They treated me very well. I have nothing but respect for them. But they didn't pay me crap.
Right.
But it's okay. I was trying to get through college. Guy walked in who used to take his son to Toys R Us. He's like, dude, what are you doing working here? I'm like, I'm trying to make it through college.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he hands me his business card. 8 weeks later, I'm working for him in the insurance field. I've been in the insurance field since 2007.
Look at that.
But think about really what's at the core of everything. It's accountability. It's on you, and that's the way I was raised.
Yeah.
Y'all are men. Y'all have live life, At the core of everything, my father taught me this. Sometimes things aren't your fault, but it's your responsibility to go do and produce. It's shit that pops up during the week that drive me insane. And I can't just freak out and what I'm gonna go do?
Yeah.
Smoke some weed or some shit.
Yeah.
That problem is still there. I have to take accountability for whatever it is and go do and produce.
Right.
But in this society, and I hate to be that woe is me and hey boomer or whatever the hell they call them these days, you have to take accountability for everything, man. I hear kids when I'm talking at Lively or wherever, oh, well, I just came from a bad environment. Who gives a damn?
Nobody does.
Because they see me a lot of times in the suit. You don't know what the hell I had to go through to put on this damn suit every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to take accountability for whatever it is you want to do in life, where you're currently at, whatever it is, it's on you. No, and especially as men, no one's coming to save you. You think about whining on Facebook. Oh, well, I lost my job, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, and the government and Donald Trump, man. F all that. I don't give a damn who's the president. I don't care who the governor is. It's on your ass to wake up and go do.
Well, and you know my story, and Tom, you probably don't.
Right.
I was actually a minister.
Okay.
My ex-wife leaves me. My son's 1 year old. Go through a very nasty divorce, as you know, many guys have gone through. Start drinking a whole lot, become a bit of a bum. My dad finally, about 5 years later, kicks me out of the house. He's like, it's time you go grow up again.
Right.
Because, I went through a bad depression. Nobody ever talks about man depression.
Yeah, it's a real thing, man.
And found myself homeless, carless.
Yeah.
Stayed with the buddies when I could. And a friend of mine allowed me to to stay in his used car dealership at night, with agreement that I would look over his finance books every day, before I went to my actual job. And it caused me to grow up, but I couldn't sit over there with a kid and be like, oh, woe is me, the world sucks. I had to go make it. Yeah. And it was the best thing my dad did for me.
Yeah.
Was to make me, actually have to relook at life and be like, okay, well, this is where I am and this is not where I need to be.
Yeah.
And I think that as men, I think you hit on the head. Nobody's coming to save us.
No.
And sometimes you got to take a job at Burger King
to do whatever,
to make enough money to pursue what you got to pursue.
Yeah.
And there's no harm in that.
Do what you have to.
I had 100 things go wrong when I left the Navy, none of which were my fault, actually. As an example, I had applied to Florida State University. I show up, and they give me a letter of acceptance, but they didn't look at my transcripts and realize I didn't take my foreign language, and you couldn't come in as a junior. There was some thing.
Yeah.
I'm no, man, sorry, no exception. So I end up at TSC. Greatest thing that ever happened, because they're incredible.
Yeah.
But along with that, I was told I had my GI Bill, and I had saved up just enough money to get me kind of through the semester. My GI Bill was going to be some more seed money. I knew I'd find a job. So I'm down to $400, and I'm like, where's my GI Bill? Every month, I'm like, I'm running out of money, literally. And I wasn't sitting around. I was applying for jobs and trying to study. And what I had found out was, even though I showed up in August, I did what was called terminal leave, where I was a leave of absence. So I was out of the Navy. I was home, but I was technically still in the Navy until October. And I had counted on that. I saved up so I'd get my pay. But the GI Bill couldn't kick in until I was out.
Fully.
No, but it wasn't my career counselor's fault. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't the world's fault. It just was a
whole bunch of things.
Oh, we didn't know you were. And so I went and bought a lawnmower at a pawn shop over Botany Drive. It's right near Gabi High School.
Yeah.
I was living in the basement of my grandmother's house. It was built on a hill, so I had some. It was a little apartment. And I went around the neighborhood knocking on doors, just looking for work, man, any work, cutting grass. Saved up enough money. That very fall, I get in a head-on collision in a car. Not hurt, but it totaled had a little Honda Accord.
Yeah.
Owed $4,000 on it. It was worth that much. So they paid it off. But that don't help you get a new car.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, we're about to find out what Star Metro is all about. So start riding the bus to work. Start, riding the bus. I had a mountain bike. I'd ride it to campus. I'd push my lawnmower with a gas tank on the back. Finally saved up and got a weed eater because people wanted that. And I balanced that on the handle in the front.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know Botany Drive and Gabi area, but it's got some hills.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Yeah. And it's the community has changed. It used to be a really great neighborhood, turned into a little bit of student housing. It's trying to recover now. But and the people didn't hire me to keep their lawn up. These were people that didn't have money. So when I cut their grass, it was knee high.
Yeah.
And I had to cut it twice because it looked like somebody had put hay down when I got done with it. So I don't say it to say, well, it was me, but there was nobody coming to help.
At all.
There was no government program. And I'll actually share something with you guys I don't think I've ever told anybody before. I went to South Monroe to Career Source. I can't remember what it was called.
It was Workforce Plus,
Yeah.
probably.
Across Monroe was like the pig, and on this side of the road was like you go there,
Yeah.
and somebody's like, dude, you got to get on like food stamps or public assistance or something. And I had never told anybody this. I don't think I got an appointment. I went and sat in line. I had my military papers. I didn't know what they would need, and I went and sat in front of the desk, and the guy started asking me questions. I could not talk. I could not believe that I was there, and I sat there, and I streamed tears.
Yeah.
I didn't cry. I didn't.
You weren't sobbing.
No, I
Maybe
just
just-
sat there, and he goes, "You okay?" And I'm like, "I just
Yeah.
can't believe I'm here." And I had to come back. I never went back.
Yeah.
I just went knocking on more doors, not because I was too proud. The fact that we have safety nets to help families is fine. I was
Couldn't believe
face
it.
to face when I'm like, I've had a successful career in the military. I was brought up in a home. We weren't rich, but mom and dad both worked. Mom got jobs before Christmas to save up for Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They provided for us, and what they actually gave us was discipline, work ethic, faith in our Creator, love, all the things. But I remember sitting there, you know, going home, going like,
How?
what in the world? What am I doing? How'd I get here? But just having that, you could lay in bed, and depression is real. And
It
I'm
is.
grateful I did not really succumb to it. I believe I experienced it, but I had a family that loved me and would call and check on me, like, hey, what you doing? You know, how's it going? You getting up, getting out? You know, I didn't have parents I could borrow money from.
Yeah.
And so, but I just knew, I was like, dude, you're healthy. You got a lawnmower. You can get to work and get it done. And but I'll just never forget how ultimately humbling that was to sit there and think, I cannot do for myself. I'm broke. I mean, literally broke, but then I felt broken, right?
Yeah.
Like as a human. So it was those
Well,
experiences. I think when you talk about leadership, I want to make sure we have safety nets. I want to make sure we have programs that help people. My fear is if you have nets that trap people.
Yeah.
So you take somebody, just put them in government housing with their government grocery store, and then you're never helping them. You're saying you and yours shall stay here forever.
There's no
Like-
incentive for them to get up
No,
out of
yeah.
that.
and I agree with that. And let's hold that thought.
Mhm.
Tom, tell us where to find you again.
Oh, TomForTallahassee.com.
Yeah, and go to 10 Insurance Group to find us on Facebook. Father to Father, Brother to Brother on Amazon, and check out carterscorner.org. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Have. Yeah.
I the last hour. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully, viewers are enjoying learning about a candidate.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
We were talking about being trapped in government housing, got out,
Yeah.
and I think that is something that more city officials need to take a look at because I do think it is true. I do think people get in there and there is no way out for 'em. All of a sudden now you've got a couple of kids
Yeah.
and you've got the government paying for it. Face it, I mean, um, childcare is expensive.
Oh, man. Hey. What we've done different, and we would have if we were like, okay, cool, got a time capsule, would have stayed home, invested in the boys, run our household more efficiently. And I'm saying me or Stefan, like one that had the desire to do it. Uh, will pale of the work we've done. But our, clothes and you got, I'm not saying who should stay home, but we just look back on it and we were chasing professional success. Sacrifice investment in the boys, not financially, but
Their
In
development.
other ways, yeah,
yeah.
it was important. So when you talk about families like that, I have met families where I will say, we're trying to help them. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And they said, well, I'm staying here, and it's either subsidized housing. And I said, well, look, and we try to line up jobs. And here is the problem. It's a catch-22. The threshold, if you make more than this amount, you can't stay, but you also can't go.
Right.
There's not enough. You make money up to here, and they're like, well, you're making too much money to stay here. And it's nothing. They're making like $20,000, $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
Up too much, you can't stay here. So there's nowhere for them to go.
There's no pipeline that gets you from that.
Yeah.
It's like, again, we box them in. Well, you're going to be poor, and then if I really want to, excel in life and move up and go to school, I can't because I don't have anything that's going to transition me from this to here, all these steps.
Yeah.
And we box them in, and they're stuck there. But I want to pivot on that to talk about the 32304 zip code, which is the poorest zip code in the state. And I don't know how long it's been like that, but since I've been in Tallahassee, it's been like that. And I've been here, 16 years.
Yeah.
And again, I've talked to candidates in this cycle, last cycle, and I mean, we have good ideas. I don't know specifically what the city's doing or what we are doing is just as a community to really, how do we diagnose this and really find out what's happening. I'm sure the colleges and universities contribute, and this general poverty in the area. Like, what's going on, and how do we get out of it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned earlier, and it's one of the things I've admired about getting to know you and watching your leadership is bringing the right players around the table. And so there are people at the hyper local level working in churches and community centers there that know what's going on.
Yeah.
And those are the troopers on the front line. When I was a Navy medic, I tell the story. I was on the front line of delivering care to my squadron, as an example, right? In D.C., the authorities in Washington would pass down a helpful tool. Here's your new database for keeping shot records, right? But it wasn't the tool we needed. I was like, why didn't they just call and ask us? We would have told you what we need to do this
directly,
or better. And so I think it starts with connecting with the boots on the ground, the people already doing work in those environments and doing a good job. We good?
No, we lost it because I got a phone call, and I don't know how I got a phone call on a private thing.
That's all right. These things happen. It keeps them real.
Yeah.
These things don't need to keep happening 24/7. But let me reconnect. Oh, goodness. I cannot believe that.
You know, when this podcast blows up and you're making big money, you can't relocate. You gotta keep
You got to keep it here. You got to keep it authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, or if you do it in a studio, you gotta
You
bring
got to
in
make
some dirt
it
and
somehow,
make it just
or
like
yeah.
this.
Oh. Cannot believe that I got a phone call from a personal.
I think it may be going still.
No, it's still going. We just lost the video. So
Not saying anything crazy.
So we lost video feed, but I think we still have the audio. So,
Back up.
yeah,
There we go.
I think we just lost.
Video there for a second.
No worry, it'll come around. It'll come around.
Yeah.
I think we lost video again. Are we good back?
No, we're still there.
All right. We'll
So-
let Scott set us up where we need to be. Yo, I apologize.
That's the book you were talking about?
Oh no, the Giving Tree.
The Giving Tree.
The Giving Tree. It's got a green cover. The art is like sort of pencil sketch with a little
Yeah.
boy. What I was gonna say is
Yeah.
you seen that book?
Yeah,
Is that-
of course, yeah.
But what's cool about that book really for me is my parents, right? Like,
Yeah.
and also growing up in a house where everybody's working hard and you know what you could ask for, what you couldn't ask
Yeah.
for. I mean, and but the thing is, my parents would have given it to us.
Yeah.
Like they would have sacrificed it. And the end of that book is nothing but a stump left.
Yeah.
If you've seen it, it's kind of. But
I
was
read it
thinking
as a
wrong
kid. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shel
yeah.
Silver, yeah.
Yeah.
Silverstein, yeah.
Okay, so y'all, I want to apologize. I set my phone to personal,
Right.
and it's supposed to be the only time that I could not
Get calls.
get a phone call, can't get anything. For some reason, we got a phone call. So we were still, audio was still live, video wasn't. So for the all that stuck through us through that, we are, neither myself nor my producer are tech guys. So we kind of figuring this out as we go along. But hey, we did
Hey,
not
cool.
have a laptop catch on fire so far this week.
I can't believe that. That's awesome.
That's
I
crazy.
wish I was there for that. I'd be like, whoa. Okay.
I tell you what, John
There's
Mader,
a fire.
John,
Wow.
who you know, and I think you know John too,
Yeah.
was here, and you know, we put it up on the screen and we watch, you know, so we know if something goes blank, you
Right.
know, we know it immediately. And John must have had me rewind that to the last 15 seconds
Of the fire.
100 times while we were getting it together. And the funniest thing was my son, who was producing that week, because Scott's daughter got baptized, so
Nice.
he had a lot of family and stuff in town. My son is holding the laptop with the fire going on like it's nothing. And so we have to knock it out of his hand and be like, Ronnie, we're on a dirt floor, just take it to the dirt, son.
Yeah.
But 30 minutes later, an hour later, we're finally getting the podcast up and running again. And because my work computer is not capable of doing OBS.
Okay.
So we can only go live on YouTube, which doesn't require an operating system.
Okay.
All the tech guys out there will probably be laughing at me because I'm sure I'm saying stuff wrong. But we finally get going, and a spider lands on him. And he goes berserk. Like, he runs out of the man cave and everything. And so we're, like, laughing, trying to contain ourselves. Because this boy just held a laptop
On fire.
on fire
With a
like it
spider.
was. But a spider, on the other hand, no.
How dare you?
When we started the first hour, remember that big old toad that hopped through? It's like blink. blink.
Yes,
I'm like,
yes.
All right, we got a studio audience today.
We do. So I apologize. We are trying to
I love it.
get
I love that you're
things.
doing this. It's cool.
Yeah, well, you know, we looked around. I told you at lunch, and we've said it to our audience. We looked around about what to do it on.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I never found when I was looking for shows, and if they're out there, forgive me, I didn't find them, was shows about uplifting man, talking about how to be better man,
Sure.
how to be better fathers, and addressing that thing. And so we went with it. And you are our 8th guest,
Nice.
and so we are crash course learning as we go.
I love
Gotta
it.
make it. Gotta make it.
But I will say this. What I like about learning about you today is so many politicians, when they run, one, they make up this backstory about woe is me type of thing. I think it's the one thing that Donald Trump appealed to people on.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first politician that didn't run and say, I grew up poor.
Right.
You know, and you look at the backstories and it's like, well, we know Hillary Rodham Clinton didn't grow up poor.
Right.
We know you grew up rich. Why are you giving me the sob story? Obama's grandfather on his dad's side was a very rich man. His grandfather on his mama's side was personal friends with the Bushes. So, you know, woe
Some
is me
connections.
type of thing. And so, but talking to you and talking about the fires you've gone through in your life and the servant's mentality, I really like that.
It's just life. I mean, I think one of the coolest things is I like speaking to college students, but I really enjoy that program about David that I was telling you about it, is just like your show here, letting guys know, like, hey, this shit you're going through is the same shit we're all going through.
It is.
Right.
You all take punches and blows. It could be financial, it could be heartache, you can have a sick kid. I mean, you could lose your job unexpectedly. Things could happen to no fault of your own. But then I will tell you, also surrounding yourself with men who will tell you, hey, you're being stupid, you're acting foolish, you can't do that. You need people in your camp too that'll tell you, hey, this is your fault, stupid. You know,
Yeah.
you've spent beyond your means, you've wrecked your relationship, you've run your company in the ground, whatever the things are. Because having the supporters and the uplifters is good, but also those real people that'll say, hey bro, you got this screwed up right now, you better
Need to
tighten
reel
up.
you in.
Yeah.
Bring you back to reality.
It doesn't fly with us. But it takes courage, First of all, you have to be close enough and have that relationship, and then respect the person's courage. I have a friend in Tallahassee, and we mentor one another, and he's he'll know who I'm talking about, but probably in his late 60s. Lives on the south side, runs some car washes and stuff, but sort of always trying to figure it out. And he looked at me as
Mr.
counsel.
Cave.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
that's my
Warren.
guy.
I love him, man.
That's
I was
my
talking to
guy.
him yesterday, and I sent him a funny photo. One of these websites takes words and makes them funny, and that the word was asshole instead of asshole.
Yeah.
And it's like, an asshole is that friend who keeps asking you for advice. You give it to them, they do the opposite.
Yeah.
I said, dude, you're the asshole in my life. And he called me laughing and crying. He goes, it's true, man. He goes, that's why I love you, because
That's funny.
But I have to care about him enough to say, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. You cannot do that. It's broken these 3 ways. And he has to, and he's been the same mentor in my life when I've been struggling with things doing. He's like, hey man, I just felt like I needed to call you and pray for you because, I understand this is tough or that's tough.
Yeah.
And I met him, the company was probably 2 years old. So we'll say 14 years ago. And he came to our office complex. We had a tiny little office we rented. We were so proud, man. Sign out front, like furniture, and we were legit, right? I had a real company now. I thought, and I heard that we didn't have a receptionist, man, but we had a little bell on the door, and I heard it open. Nobody ever came.
Yeah.
I walked out. This old black man standing in the hallway. I was like, yes, sir, what can I do for you? And he said, I'm just out here washing cars, working. Can I wash y'all's cars? And anybody looking for work, I give them work if I need it or not. You knock on my door, and I've had old men show up and say, hey, we got pine straw. We're out here working. I'm like, good, work, go, work. That's what you need. When I was knocking on doors out of the Navy needing somebody to let me cut their lawn, I needed them to say yes. That was all the money I had that week. Right? And skeptical people say, they use it on booze, or they're a mess, or whatever. Right. But Warren that day washed the cars, and I paid him, and I had a company check, man. We didn't even have print checks. I had a checkbook. I wrote it with my hand, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, who do I make this out to? And he said, it was some primitive Baptist church. He goes, I'm working for the Lord today. He goes, I'm trying to raise money for the church. And I was like, all right.
Okay.
And I said, why don't you come back every 2 weeks and do them? And right there in our lobby, he said, do you mind if I pray for you in your business? And I told him we had a new business. And he became a mentor of mine. I was a client of his, but I was learning from this man. my first grandchild was born. He saw it on Facebook, shows up at TMH, come walking down the hall, I'm like, Warren, what's up? And he goes, I saw the baby's here. And he goes, I want to come pray over the baby. He comes in, meets my family, and he's been an important part of my life from go. But I think it's because he was out doing the right thing, but he was out working. And then having people that will embrace and support those companies trying to make it. And he feels like he's always trying to get there. I would tell him he's successful.
He is.
He's
Yeah.
successful. The money doesn't come easy in his world and
Yeah.
with the work he does, but he's impacting lives in a big way. He's a pretty cool cat.
Yeah, man. So,
Yeah.
funny story. I met Warren a couple years ago, maybe 2024 early,
Yeah.
at the LT preview party at Hayward House.
Right.
And I had just gone through the worst period of my life. You know, I'm still put together. I'm still in my suit. So I still got to keep that game
Look,
face, man. He comes up. I never met him. Didn't know him. I was just there. People, I'm an extrovert.
Right.
But at that party, I had imposter syndrome. So I'm with
Right.
all these big folks that seen on TV, on Facebook, and people don't realize that they see me now, but then, especially then, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm shrinking. I'm
Right.
shrinking. You can't see it, but I'm shrinking all the time. I don't. Okay, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. But I'm just standing alone, and he walks up to me and he says, "Hey, I see you have the spirit of a leader on you. Can I pray for you right now?"
You're
And
like,
I was like, "Me?"
Yeah.
And he prays for me, and he says, God has spoken to me and says, you're going to be somebody great in this city. This is years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm thinking about it.
You're like, nice to meet
after,
you.
whatever. I would see Warren every now and
Uh-huh.
just by being out, especially at that point,
He's
beginning
everywhere.
in workforce,
Yeah.
being around town. But I always thought back to that now,
Mm-hmm.
what he told me. And I was like, I don't see it. I don't
Yeah.
think about it. I can't see it. But, yeah, man, I recently linked up with Warren a couple weeks ago. I was like, Warren, we've been talking about meeting up for forever. We gonna finally. I came to where the church he was at, and he was helping people preparing lunches, and we finally sat down. And I was like, "Hey, this is my plan for workforce. How can I help?" But he sat down with me and said, "This is how I can help you."
Yeah.
And man, just an amazing guy. But I tell you this, God knows where to place people,
Amen.
and everything's. There are no coincidences in life.
Nope.
Everything is designed in a perfect way before you were even born or even thought about. God has a plan for you. It's going to be you that self-sabotages yourself to not get you where he sees you.
Right.
And that's how I believe when I meet people. I don't believe it didn't just randomly happen.
Right,
Like
right.
our stories are interwoven.
Yeah.
Like we were supposed to do something great together.
So
I don't know
true.
what it is. I don't know how it's going to be, but we were meant to do something great together. And I think about Warren and the Tallahassee community as a whole.
Yeah.
I met so many amazing folks, man. Jay and
Yeah.
whoever,
On and on.
Democrat, Republican, atheist, liberal, whoever, that's it.
Well, no, but you know how cool it is? Like, you just went through a few labels, like Democrat, Republican, whatever. And I'm an independent right now. And
Yeah.
I told folks, I said, when you're knocking on doors, they want to know
Who
what
are
party
you?
affiliation
Yeah.
you are. And I said, well, it's a nonpartisan race on the ballot. It's not going to have a D or an R or an
Yeah,
I
yeah.
behind it. But I said, I was a Republican before I was an independent. And they said, hey, how did you become a Republican? And I said, look, when I signed up for the Navy, you get a bunch of paperwork, and I was like, Mom and Dad, what are y'all? And they said it, and I was like, well, I guess I am.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I looked around my life at all my friends, and I had Democrats and Republicans and independents. I look at my voting history, the candidates I've supported, and I was like,
Changes. And
I look for the best leader.
Right.
Like,
who do I trust?
who do I trust? Who's going to care about the people? Who's going to do the job? And there's the attack on me, for sure, you can play this back, will be that I used to be a Republican. And so you can't trust me. You can't vote for me. And my response to people is, I'll tell you what, I've served every part of this community, from food banks to the Carney Center and my biggest work probably that anyone heard about was after Hurricane Michael and after some of the storms, we rally folks and get things going. And I said, I'll tell you what, nobody's ever asked me when we're handing out food and water.
What were you? What your party affiliation
Like,
was?
excuse me, before I let you serve me and help rebuild our community, or we show up with chainsaws and clean up an old lady's yard, they're not like, well, you're not a Republican, are you? Or you're not a Democrat, are you? Or you're not, how do you feel about the Second Amendment? How do you feel about women's rights? I'm like, we are told to obsess over these things because they raise money for candidates by creating fear. And it goes back to something else we talked about over lunch, and I think a little bit today, was when people are hurt or acting out of fear, they don't act like rationally.
No.
You know, they don't say, what experience does this individual have to lead? What has their life of contribution been? Have they ever demonstrated this to the community, or they just show up now and want you to trust them? And so I'm not afraid of that question. When it's asked, I'm just like, hey, man, great story, you know. Here's how it happened. Here's my journey. I believe character matters in leadership, and I think I've always been an independent thinker and voter. And honestly, the funniest thing about the whole 3-2, where you got the establishment and you got the progressives, is like, I am a ripple or a wrinkle in the plan, because some of the money that wants a sure bet picks a candidate.
Yeah, of course.
But they know I'm a critical thinker, and they're like, well, we're going to have to make a case to Tom that this is good for the people of Tallahassee. You know, there's no paybacks, there's no friendships, there's no hey, man, you donate all this money to me, I owe you one. To be honest with you, I thought about just running on my own investment. Like, I could take out a HELOC on my house and put it in my campaign. You know, I could take my savings and put it towards it. But what people have told me was, you will look like you're trying to buy. Part of campaigning is earning support, earning donations, connecting with the community. But I'll tell you, I'm independent enough financially that I do very little business in Tallahassee. And if somebody has donated to me and they think they got a favor coming, I just need to hear that your idea is very good for the people of Tallahassee, economically, environmentally, that it's smart, that it's good. And if we can move people, if we can reach in that neighborhood and create jobs, bring people out of poverty, improve our lifestyle, that'll probably be all about it.
Right.
But if it's haphazard, then I'm not ready to make that decision. That's where you say it takes a while to make a decision, because I got to think about it. Does it work? Seems good on the surface, but and that's, you know, so many decisions we're told. My professional life is in communications, so it's understanding the situation, sharing that story with people. If you want people to buy membership at your gym, we understand what they need. We try to do marketing, make them buy membership at your gym, or whatever the subject is. But I would tell you that when it comes to making some of the big decisions in town, everybody, just like this tax thing, it's become political. It's be on the ballot. So now it's like each party saying, be afraid. And it's spin you up with false messaging and create fear. And I think that's what we got to get away from. And when you look at the TMH FSU deal that went down, I don't blame FSU. I'm sympathetic to their leadership,
of course,
for having to go through that trauma. I'm sympathetic to TMH's leadership to having to go through that trauma, because in my opinion, observing, it was fumbled so badly by the city manager and mayor from go.
Like, what are we doing?
It's like you've created this very dramatic,
that shouldn't have been.
And then here's where I tell you I'll be different. As an example, I want to understand. I met with many of the city commissioners and was deeply trying to understand that situation, and it bothered me to hear city commissioners say, my husband or my wife has to get treatment in Gainesville and I don't want them to ever have to leave town again. It demonstrated a general lack of understanding of the decision they were making.
Right.
And it was not true. And I'll tell you why. And this isn't anti-FSU or TMH. This is the facts. Is when that medical school was created, the other medical programs around the state of Florida were like, whoa, we don't want another medical school in Florida.
Right.
Everybody wants their piece of the pie. They don't want to share the pie.
Of
right?
course.
So in that legislation was language that said if Shands or UF Health has a residency program in oncology for a certain thing, it can't be duplicated over here. We'll let you get them research dollars. You got to do your own thing. So
you're still going to have to leave.
Probably if you're going to Shands for some sort of specialty care, a decade from now, you will probably still be going there. Will we have new specialties here? Will we have a bigger, better hospital? I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be good. Will we have more jobs? Will research dollars flow to Tallahassee? I'm pro this. When I'm out knocking on doors, I meet people who don't like FSU or don't like TMH for that situation. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey,
that's-
don't be mad at either one of them.
Yeah.
They were sort of shoved into this situation, and I think the destination of improved, expanded access to care, research dollars, all these things are going to happen. I'm the candidate who's going to make sure that we take advantage of that. That
Yeah.
we go out into the world and say, hey, please come look at us again. Please check out what we're doing now. Would you like to do research here? Would you like to do work here? Looking at FSU as a key partner with our healthcare folks. I mean, how much of a fumble was it to like not include TSC and FAMU in that conversation early on? I'm not saying they should have ownership. Like,
No, but
like
include it.
they're, a mission critical piece, spoke in the wheel are the nursing programs and the radiology techs and sonographers and the pharmacists to that system. And so it just goes back to just like
The
what a
silos
terrible
of-
rollout.
Yeah, the silos of no, you're
Yeah.
FAMU or TSC, and you can't be
Yeah.
a part. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like no long-term planning. How do we leverage
Well-
all the resources that we have?
What
here?
I would tell people now watching this is, let's let that be the past, and let's not take sides, and let's say, hey, now we have this incredible thing. What do we do with it?
How do we leverage it?
How do we make it reach its full potential? Not so TMH is successful, not so FSU is, so we are all successful,
benefiting,
right? Like this could be huge, and could be broadly celebrated, and
Yeah.
should be, but for the way it
imagine
flopped
if
out.
you went into the high schools in the surrounding areas, and I'll take Jefferson County for instance. Jefferson County schools need a lot of work,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of work.
Okay.
And what if they went into there and, I found out that, and I didn't even know this, I found out because a guy I smoke with, his, son needed a job, needed a career. He had a job,
Yeah.
but he needed an actual career.
Yeah.
Right.
And he went to somebody that works at TMH, and he was like, hey, you got any job openings or anything? And he got his son a job cleaning the materials
Oh, interesting.
that they use, the bed pens
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's like laser cleaning or something.
Yeah.
And the guy had to go through
Training and stuff.
a long course for it. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, what if somebody like Jefferson County started training people on how to do that
Right.
at a high
Carve
school
out
level?
Yeah, carve out their own thing and
Carve out their own
do
niche,
the
'cause-
pipeline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
of a sudden now you have people who have careers making good money
Yeah.
that they can go and actually make it. And I agree with you, and I have went to TMH for care for a long time. And the one thing I've noticed about TMH is no knocking on TMH, but they're not able to handle the load anymore, and they haven't been for a while. I have had misdiagnosis there that have been picked up, and I don't think it's from their fault. I just think that TMH was founded to care for 3 counties.
Gotcha.
TMH now cares for 12?
Yeah,
That's a
the
big
surrounding area.
And one of the largest hospitals in the country sits in a little town in Iowa.
Yeah.
Little bitty town in Iowa. It's connected to Iowa University.
Okay.
Florida State is, knock on wood, looks like we are probably going Big Ten.
That's right.
We end up in the Big Ten. This is what people are missing.
All of them have research.
All of them have research hospitals, and all of them share their research immediately. So all these opponents against it, I'm sitting over here thinking about the future, and I'm like, you've got a doctor that's about to do surgery on you. 10 minutes before he goes to do surgery on you, he gets an email from the University of Michigan. We've now figured out a better way to do that surgery that's safer.
Right.
All of a sudden that doctor goes into your room and says, hey, we're going to postpone this for another day because I
if we
need to
can get it
read
right."
up on the material
Yeah.
that I just got handed to me.
Right.
And before Shands has it, before Harvard has it,
Yeah.
you have it in Tallahassee, Florida, and that's something, I don't know how familiar you are with that, but that's something the Big Ten shares within itself. And if you're a FAMU, if you're TSU. I'm so used to calling it
Right.
TCC.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be a part of that pie. You
Yeah.
need to have your seat at the table.
Mhm.
And it's only going to make all of Tallahassee bigger, better, and stronger to have colleges from California to Pennsylvania
Mhm.
sharing information with each other.
Oh yeah. You absolutely want that kind of network of resources and research and all the things.
I mean, what's the one thing Tallahassee's in short of? Primary care physicians.
Mhm.
Tallahassee is in major short supply.
Well, we could use quite a few more mattress stores and chicken outlets
Bruh.
that we just had.
They tore down the bank to build
Yeah, another chicken store.
Blairstone and Appalachia.
Yep, I saw that. I got
For
some
Cane's?
uproar, man.
Oh, bro.
Yeah,
We keep getting chicken spots.
it's nuts.
Like, what are we
man.
doing?
You know, and don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nothing
I'm a
against.
fat Southern boy.
Yeah.
I like me some chicken.
Man.
But when are we, you know,
Right.
it's
I
like we
understand.
touched on earlier, careers, actual careers. And I've got a buddy of mine, love him to death. I fight with him all the time because he is so poor-minded
Right.
that he thinks his new job at Burger King's a career. And I'm like, okay, I'm not dishing you working at Burger King.
Yeah.
You know, but it's time for you to get a career. And I tell him just about once a week that if he goes down to Lively, I'll pay for his bills while he goes to Lively
Yeah.
to be better off. But, you know, I couldn't, you know, I approached him about it when I heard people, you know, protesting the hospital thing. And I'm like, LJ, why is this happening? Because in my mind,
Yeah.
seems like a great thing.
Yeah.
Well, like Tom said and I said too, the city effed that up. Well, they created a space that didn't. They created something that didn't have to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there was going to be uproar about it to begin with, due to the nature of it's so layered in, anyways, with FAMU, Florida State, the history of their hospital to Florida State.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
got that layer. And then why wouldn't you come out and be as transparent as possible and do panels or they may have
Yeah.
done that, but sitting in those city commission meetings, I'm like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all saying?
Hey, it was
like what
my understanding is it was like what? Like
Bruh.
just popped out of the blue
yeah.
on an agenda.
Well, and I think it had to
Like,
do with
what?
it came about the same time the golf,
The golf course,
blunder
yeah.
came
Oh, yeah.
around.
Both of them going at the same time, man.
Was just poor
I'm like-
planning.
Yeah.
But
I don't. And I've asked the commissioners this. When did
what?
this body direct staff to get rid of these assets? Who said, "Oh man, we got it. This is the."
and they did it so quickly though.
Like-
That's what really upsets me. I'm like, I'm not against, but how
Yeah.
quickly it was done and
It's sort of. It's absolutely the way it went down, and I mean, you know, we're part of this is interesting to talk about and reach back on, but you know, I do want listeners to realize that, you know, let's get leadership on the commission that now knows what to do with it, right? We're going to have a
Yeah.
shiny new toy. We got this thing to brag about. Now we need some business leaders, marketing professionals, folks that can reach out into the world.
really leverage it.
Yeah, and like I said about Keith's shop over there, you know, let's empower them to do. I think they can hit home runs.
Oh.
Please let me untie his hand from behind his back. Take
Yes.
the eye patch off.
Yes.
And swing, go. Let's go. Bring the opportunities. Let us discuss them. Let's break it down.
I've heard crazy stuff about again ear to the ground
Yeah.
about certain businesses and being told that okay
Yeah.
that will never come to Tallahassee, even though it's a good idea, even
Oh,
though
yeah.
it will employ. And I've heard that he said it can't be in Tallahassee.
So being a candidate, you have to learn. I mean, think about just this being a candidate during these times. Everybody wants to know how you feel about the golf course,
Yeah.
the hospital stuff. You had nothing to do with it. Seems to be done.
Yeah.
You have
It's wrapping up. Man.
annexation of a huge piece of land on the table. You have AI data centers, and I want to know more. So I've probably spent 2 weeks reading about and watching videos from experts on the realities of data centers, the actual jobs they create, the actual energy they consume, the actual water use, the actual environmental impact. And then you go online and see people posting things that are just not backed in any facts. I am glad they're taking some time to work on this and discover. I think Christian Caban made a motion to put a moratorium for a year as they kind of unpack it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the very interesting scientists I listen to has done research on how they can use AI inside an AI data center to fluctuate power demands. That every request that comes in isn't a request on demand. Like if you say in ChatGPT, give me 3 hot dog places in town, as an example, there's way bigger ways AI is being used, but that they have the intelligence and technology to put certain demand loads when you have peak solar use and power, when you have lower consumer use. So if, say, a data processing center is putting information through that's not timely, they don't need it yesterday, or like right now, they run that in the evening when the rest of us are in bed and the city's power use decreases.
Right.
They're using intelligent design to figure this out. You may listen to this and say, oh, he's pro data center. No, I'm pro learning about it. And I didn't know that 2 weeks ago that was even possible. I was just being told, dude, you plug that data center into your grid and it's
gonna suck up all the
water.
water.
Done. And I'm like, well,
I thought about
not
this.
Totally true.
Yeah.
As I've been researching the data centers. And what I haven't heard one city, county, municipality say is, why don't we bring in the data center? But this would be the perfect time to bring in nuclear power.
Right.
Like this would be the perfect time to say
super clean, super safe power. Yeah.
Yeah, and I drive by that thing and I think Madison County F themselves big time.
On I-10?
You go on I-10 and you see all those solar panels, and solar panels are bad for the environment.
Right.
They are. And I know a lot of people can disagree with me in that one. Go past the talking points and go to the actual science. They heat up the ground.
Okay.
They kill birds.
Interesting.
You have all that land right there. Madison County, and if you're watching this, and I have a few people in Madison County, it's not the first time you've heard me say this. Madison County could have went out and petitioned the state for a nuclear power plant. They could have built a nuclear power plant on that acreage that they had, which would have only taken up about 20 of the thousands of acres they had.
Interesting.
And supplied the North Florida
with endless power.
For endless power. And all of a sudden now, you're not concerned about the power usage for an AI data center that's coming in.
I know I in one of these documents I read, it was talking about the incredibly long development period for because it's nuclear power. But it still should. I mean, I drive past on the way to St. Petersburg for meetings in Crystal River down there. I drive past that facility.
Yeah.
But I think it's just not. Your first reaction shouldn't be no and afraid. It should be like,
let me get more information.
I want to know more about this. Yeah. And one of it can be fatiguing because you're running a business and a father and campaigning. But one of the positive things is all of a sudden digging into issues and content that not just you didn't know about before, but that your community's never even considered before.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also learned a lot of people that are anti, data centers, then do your part. Stop watching Netflix. Where do you think this information comes from?
Stop using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned. It's like, cool, let me see your phone. It's like Netflix, Amazon Prime streaming. It's like,
so are you really against this?
You just want it somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, I want all the benefit of it, but I don't want any of the other. It's typical, but
I'd love the jobs of it in the area.
Yeah, I would like to bring some synergy around our really natural, highly accelerated areas, right? Like we have the Mag Lab, this academic medical center, the medical college, the things we're doing there's a whole body of people at FSU and FAMU that are involved with research. They know where the money is. They know how to get it. They know what needs to be done. And then, again, build that little league field and let them play on it. right? Don't make it hard. They didn't make a ninja course
No.
between the parking lot and the playing field for the athletes that are 12 years old, right? They said, hey, here's the open gate. Have fun. Be safe.
Well,
Follow the rules.
imagine FAMU, who, by the way, their land grant is massive. A lot of people don't understand this. FAMU owns a ton of land that's not being used.
Gaston County too.
Yeah, in Gaston County.
Yeah.
Man.
But imagine FAMU getting a data center
Mhm.
that they can now open up more courses and teaching the technology
Right?
to run a data center. And they have the land to do it. Florida State's almost out of land. Florida State's got to buy
Buy it
more
up.
land.
Yeah.
But FAMU is setting on
They got a piece.
a ridiculous amount of land that's not being used that would be great for them. And, you know, I know a lot of people don't like the new president, and I don't know whether I like her or dislike her. I haven't really researched it. But she does have the ear of a governor.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this would be the perfect opportunity for them to come and say, hey, look, you know, like her, love her, or hate her, she's
How
got
can we get stuff done? for
she's got
Tallahassee?
Ron on speed dial.
Right.
So call up Ron and say, hey, I want one of these data centers,
Right.
but I want FAMU to have access. Yeah, I want FAMU to control it and let us, you know, open up new technology wing to where we can expand our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let Florida State students come down and use it. TSU students.
Yeah.
But it just seems
TSC.
like
Tallahassee State
yeah.
College. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got you. I
but-
still call the Tallahassee Museum the Junior Museum.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. By the way, it's excellent place if you have kids. I mean,
Yeah,
it's one of
it's
the
so
best
cool.
things in Tallahassee.
I love it. It's neat. I had a membership there for years. It's kind of cool.
I did up until my son got to the age where
thought it was lame?
He no longer.
How old
cared
is he
about
now?
it.
I don't know.
17.
17.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have
Nice.
a senior in high school
Okay.
coming up.
Very good. Down on what color or where's that?
No. He's here. This is why I live
Up here. Okay.
in Thomasville.
Nice. Okay.
I have very few connections in Thomasville except for a buffet
There you
and a
go.
bank.
Nice. I'm glad you got that buffet connection. I've benefited
Yes,
from that
yes.
relationship.
We are working on the owner to come here and be on the show with us.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Hey, I'm gonna touch on two topics and I'm out.
Go ahead.
We out. If that's fine.
That's fine.
Good.
Recent crime and all the shootings in Tallahassee, and then I want to touch on. I don't think too many folks have touched on this too much.
Right.
Traffic.
Yeah.
Just want to touch on those topics, and I'm fine.
That'll probably take us to the 3 hours. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, years ago, before COVID, I was on a task force that the former police chief put together of nonprofits, business leaders, community
Yeah.
leaders to come in and talk about what's going on. The frustrating part of that for me was it was also around the time, what year was that then? It would have been his first term. Gillum rolled off as mayor, started running for governor.
So
Maddox was getting
2015,
indictment.
2016.
It was, I think,
Or
it was
maybe a little bit
closer
before.
than that because it would have been.
Oh yeah, like 2014 or so. Oh no,
That
you said when Gillum was running.
Yeah, it would have been 8 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it would've
like
been
18,
yeah.
16. So around teens,
Yeah.
you know, one of the interesting things that we found was the police know what to do, and the
Oh,
police
cool.
know where the crime is, and there are solutions in place. What you need is the directive from the commission and leadership within the city
To go.
to fund and implement the programs that need to go. Some of them are community outreach, and some of them are, hey, if you get caught with a gun, you're going away.
Right.
You know, like they know where the guns are, they know what to do, and I think they're probably like the economic development teams
Hands tied.
do the best they can with the resources and support they have. You know, so
What really bothered me recently was the shooting at Sharky's and
Right.
Pockets. And y'all have been around in Tallahassee forever.
I've
I
been to
live
Pockets, yeah.
yeah. I live not far, like Live Oak Plantation
Yeah.
Way and all that good stuff. That area over time has had countless shootings.
Yeah.
Yep.
And usually, from what I know, I haven't been to Pockets in a while.
Hmm.
There's usually an officer like right there.
yeah,
I don't know how that. I mean, you can't stop somebody from pulling out a
Yeah.
gun and shooting, but that spot over and over and over and over again
mm-hmm.
has had shootings and whatnot.
Sure.
So if you know, like you just
Yeah.
said, they have the data. What are we doing? Like that
Right.
makes no sense to me. But over the past like 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
from what I know, we've had like 5 shootings.
yeah.
And they're kind of in the same areas that previous shootings
Yeah.
were near. So I don't get it. And it really upsets me that you're saying that we know the techniques, we know we have the data on it.
Right. I'll tell you, it's frustrating to be in these work groups where, first of all, these things are true. These young men find themselves in situations for numerous reasons.
Yeah.
Oftentimes a fatherless home.
Yeah.
They drop out of high school. They went to a high school. Mom worked. Nobody made sure they did their homework. There's like these foundational issues that are real and are difficult.
Yeah.
And then there's the economy. You know, where can these young men go and get good work?
Yeah.
And if they don't have community around them, then sometimes their buddies or a gang become their community. And
Yeah.
it becomes cultural. It's a lifestyle thing. But I think what we got to do is obviously step up, you know, our presence and messaging that gun violence will be, you know, we're going to eradicate it. Just like, you know, having the poorest zip code. I meant to say this a minute ago when you said it. How come every candidate, and not just the main issue, like we can't have this badge on our city? And I'm glad we're an all-American city.
Yeah.
I cynically was like,
Well,
I love this that we're the all-American city, but clearly
we're not.
we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have some. Yeah, we got some.
We got
Great
some
parts.
major
We got some
issues.
great things,
Yeah.
but we have the poor zip code. We have gun violence issue. We have a shrinking population. I think
Yeah.
about 2,000 people, and a completely static economy. And I mean, you could see some bumps and trends over time, but you know, people are like,
Overall.
well, it's Trump's fault.
Yeah,
And
nah,
I'm like, well,
yeah.
I think you could just look over time and see that we have not grown like
No.
our contemporaries. So I believe there's work that can be done on gun violence. Traffic is to me a little bit complicated because I do a lot of work out of this market, so I sometimes chuckle at our traffic issue because I mean there's
It's not bad in comparison to like Atlanta or
2 times during the day.
Tampa. Or,
Yeah, you know, it'll take you 30 minutes to get from Bannerman to downtown, but then, you know, an hour later you could do it in half the time. So,
Yeah.
you know, I have not ever looked at that as a
Hindrance.
a real serious issue. But when it comes to broader growth plans, where we're building roads, where the world's going, most people just don't understand. They don't understand what's going on at Walani with the new exit at the interstate. They don't
Yeah.
understand what's going on the south side. And I think the city's communication department that puts out like great websites, newsletters, in some ways is best in class. Like we do a good job.
Yeah.
But I also turn to the citizens and say, you got to be involved. You got to read the damn thing. In my utility bill, I get
All
most
types
people
of
open the
stuff.
utility bill and they get the bill and then all that information, like I never know what's going on, they put in the trash. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, there was a
It's
whole
all right
newsletter in
there.
there saying,
Whatever.
here's this, here's that, and then they show up at a community meeting and they're like, why'd this happen so fast? What in the world happened? And it's like, we've announced it 6 times over 6 months. We've held 3 roundtables. We did an online survey,
Yeah.
and then now it's happening. You're like,
I didn't
there's
hear
something
about
crooked.
it.
And it's like, so be involved. There's a lot of issues though. The funny thing about being on the campaign trail is as much work as you think you're doing in February or say March or April, knocking on doors, meeting people, and I thought at first I'd have to have policy positions on every single thing.
Nah,
and it's
people wanna
really
know
just,
you.
they want to know you, you know, how you lead, and then half of them probably forgot my name already. It's really like,
Oh no, your name's pretty hard to forget though.
yeah, so trying to get you out there a bit.
It's
I wish-
transactional, I guess.
Yeah. To me, it's like kind of primal. It was funny. Two of the volunteers I have are moms, and they're like, we want to help organize volunteers and help you set up walking groups and all the things that campaigns do. I was like, thank you very much. I need help. And they said, well, I was talking about some messaging, and I make little videos, and they said, hey, affordability and crime. And I was like, we're talking about, say, Killarn or Southwood or Summerbrook, and I'm like, crime. And he's like, yeah. When people hear about these shootings, even though it's not in your neighborhood, they feel unsafe,
Right.
right? We're not having shootings in Summerbrook.
No.
But the point is that message to them resonates. Like, we got to make our community safer. We got to make it more affordable. Now, as a city commissioner, what can I do on the affordability front? There's a few things. I mean, we do own our own utility company. There are several things we could do. I saw recently a Facebook post where an older gentleman in his 90s had his power cut off, and the neighborhood's trying to rally behind him, and he's way behind. But we do need some flexibility, some ability to help those in need. Like, I mean, this gentleman is like very old and is very hot, and we have plenty of nonprofits and churches and a community that could rally behind, but also understanding that situation in that house before, you know, You just flip
How
the
do you-
switch.
yeah.
And it's like, wait, what's going on here? I mean, the guy's on Meals on Wheels, and they're showing up and discovering, like, what happened to your power? It's cut off. And you look at his Social Security, it's nothing, you know? So that's sort of a really random sidebar, but just to say that there are things that we can do as commissioners, and back to the government closest to the people that you can reach out and touch, and you can move. You can show up at a city commission meeting. I've been in meetings where an issue comes up and 30 people wearing the same T-shirt coming in and talk.
Bro.
And I thought I knew how the commission was about on an issue, and I see them delay that for a month, so they want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
They kind of went in ready to approve it, and
Oh,
30
no.
people changed their mind. And so you can't do that at the Capitol, and you can't do that. And you show up with 30 people at the Capitol or in D.C., they don't even know you're there.
Yeah.
So that's why when you come out of property tax and control, that's why it kind of comes down to, like, this really isn't. The people need to recognize that, you know, we have a great deal of control locally. We can make some adjustments.
Yeah.
And I actually believe you're right. There's not anybody that's going to stumble into the booth in November and say, no, I don't want less taxes. So to me, it's a go, and we need leadership that I can provide that's going to find innovative ways to put those programs together. We make sure we can still operate.
Well, Tom, look in the camera and tell people why in August they
Yeah.
should go ahead and vote you in as commissioner.
Awesome. I'll tell you that I will lead honestly with integrity. I will work and study the issues hard, and I will explain myself and be accountable to you. You mentioned voting in August. Thank you. August 18th is election day. I'm really afraid you're going to forget to vote because turnout in August is terrible. It's poor. You'll show up in November, but it could be too late for me. So if you're not 100% sure that you can show up in August, I'd encourage you to request a vote by mail or follow me on Facebook or my website, where there's going to be a period of time they open up early voting precincts. And for many, many days, you can click on it, find the one near you, and you could go vote on your schedule long before the election. And so I always like to tell people, election day is your last chance. So if you have a candidate or an issue or you care, if you like the last chance, then election day is your day. But I'd hate for you to have a sick kid, or it's raining, or you get a flat tire. Your boss won't let you go. I say get it done. Get it done early.
Well,
And thank you.
Tom, I appreciate you coming out here. LJ, it is always a pleasure to have you on the show.
It was an honor to be called for this, man. I was like,
cool.
you thinking about me? Oh, crazy me to talk to Tom?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
You
It's a blessing, man.
You
It's a
are and
blessing.
have been my go-to guy for city politics for a long time, and I appreciate that.
Blessed to hear that, man. Thankful.
And congratulations on the new.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Excited about that. Excited to help, man. Local businesses. Yeah. See
Well,
what we can
that's
do
your
there.
passion,
Yeah.
so that's got me excited that that's what
Yeah,
you're
man.
doing.
See what we can do.
Sounds like, hopefully you'll have a city commissioner that will be for helping local businesses.
I would hope. We need it. I would hope.
Well, Tom, we wish you nothing but the best on the campaign trail.
Thanks.
Yeah.
LJ, as always, it's a pleasure having you here.
Yes, sir.
Y'all be blessed. Tune in next week. We have a fathers panel with fathers that I think are going to be great. Week after that, we have a guy who does a podcast called Buckeye Boys,
Okay.
who's going to tell a story about overcoming a heroin addict to finding the Lord, which should be very interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
we'll go from there, but I appreciate y'all coming on and share the podcast. And sorry for the few technical difficulties we had, but it was better than it was last week.